live.
Okay, so yeah, we're just only 1.5 hour late, nothing more. Like, please, to be fair, we did put enough pressure on Mr. Weave to finish Spidey 2, so we glad to talk about it.
I'm exhausted.
But let's get to the intro. Mr. Weave, Spidey 2, congratulations on the plot.
Thank you. Yeah, this is the Weep Sheriff. Yeah, doing great. Just finished Spider-Man 2 in time, so that also answer your question. What have I been playing the last week?
This is why
Uh,
I didn't ask.
yeah. I think I don't have to talk about the game because we're probably gonna do a section about Spider-Man 2 anyway.
Yeah,
Yeah. So yeah. So one game scratch from my backlog onto the next one.
what's your next one?
Mario Wonder.
Have fun
Thank you.
being an elephant.
I will.
Okay. And is there any game you're looking forward to this year so far?
This year,
Yeah.
still, oh yeah, the year is still it well short. So I don't know. Not well. Yeah, no. I almost said no, but yeah, there's one game I'm still looking forward to. That's Like a Dragon, the Gaiden.
Mm.
It's coming out in November. Um, yeah, that's about it for this
Okay,
year.
I see. And hey, congratulations on the Plus for Spidey too.
Appreciate it. Uh, yeah, again, just like you said, all of us have been playing Spider-Man 2 rigorously. Um, game again, like everybody's known, absolutely phenomenal. I enjoyed my time with it thoroughly. Um, Now it's on to finishing up some other games before the end of the year. I'm at pretty much 80%, 80 to 90% through about 6 or 7 different games. So my focus is to work on that and also definitely finish up the amazing game that is Sea of Stars. So
Yeah,
yeah, that's a big one for me. I've also been playing Civilization 6 randomly. That I mean, I've always been a fan of it, but I recently picked up the anthology, which is like literally every single DLC and the thing they've come out with. I picked it up for like
which
eight
game?
$18. Civilization 6.
Oh, Civilization. Okay, I see.
So yeah, I've been playing that, having a lot of fun with that. Try not to put too much time into it right now because that's not really a game that you can beat. So that's really a game you just play for like a lifetime. So um, yeah, and other than that, Jedi Survivor, of course, that's another one I'm like 70% of the way through. Um, as well as my friend Pedro. That's another one that's like not super long that I
My
know
friend,
of.
what?
Pedro or Pedro,
Oh,
whatever.
Pedro. Oh, okay.
Yeah, whichever.
So I saw that one. Does it get any different in terms of do you get more skills or that's all you do the entire
I mean,
play?
that's basically
play?
his whole spill. I mean, you might get different
Uh,
weapons, dual wield certain weapons, stuff like that, but that's basically his spill. Besides when he's riding a motorcycle.
okay.
Omar, just play the game. It's fun.
Yeah, it's a fun little game. It's just something to shore up some stuff
Mm-hmm.
that I've started because I've started it a few times and I just haven't
Mm-hmm.
finished it. So it's something I want to finish. Um, I think that's pretty much about it. I might pick up the Mario Wonder. Um, I've been trying to get it for $39.99 though. I can't really justify it beyond that because
Mm.
I'm not a big Mario person. It's really because Priscilla was talking about playing it. So um,
Oh, that makes sense.
yeah, so for $39.99, that's not bad. Um, but yeah, I think that's about it.
Okay.
Unless something surprises me and just jumps out.
I assume Morgan is still Morganing?
Most likely.
Okay, then as for me, congratulations on plating Spider-Man 2. Hey, if no one gonna congratulate me, then I'm gonna go
This
congratulate
man,
myself.
he said,
Oh,
"Congratulations, Omar."
That's how it should be.
Referred to
Yeah,
himself in the
no.
third person.
Yeah. So also congratulations on finishing Alan Wake. What a god awful game that was. It had a great story until the end, but I'm like, excuse me, conclusion? Nope. It's a Remedy game. Get used to it. I'm like, okay, I guess. And then I get to hear, oh, so the ending is locked behind DLC. I'm like, okay, I played the first DLC. I'm now second wiser of what the actual heck happened, and apparently the second DLC doesn't answer question two. If I want answer two. If I want answers, I need to play part two, which I'm gonna get some answered, some question answered, and yeah. As you can see, I'm very happy that I played Alan Wake. I know, look, gameplay was sluggish, but passable. Story genuinely was interesting up until the ending. The only big gripe I had with the game is how slow. Like this man have zero cardio, zero. But that's about it. I'm now playing some random games before I start Alan Wake 2. Like I'm thinking about playing either One Piece, Odyssey, or uh, finally playing or restarting the Yuffie DLC, and this time not try to kill to beat Leviathan or Bahamut. I forgot which one. The secret boss that you get to is a secret summon. You get to fight. I think Bahamut. Not to try to fight him while I'm just literally level one with Yuffie. So I'm just gonna play through the game and see what how Luffy plays. Cause next year Final Fantasy Rebirth. Super
yeah,
excited about that. Yeah,
that's a good one. I still have to finish that one too.
yeah. But that's about it. Um, let's up to the outro. Outro. Yeah, let's do the outro
Yeah.
now. Um, let's get to the first topic, which very quick one. Uh, Xbox restructured their leadership, and Sarah Bond got a promotion. Matt Booty got a promotion. Congratulations to both of them. But what this does, it solidifies that Xbox is gonna continue where they are right now, as they're not gonna deviate from that. And I know one person is absolutely not happy with that, which is Innate. Nate, what's your thoughts?
You said I'm not happy with it.
You're not happy because this confirms that Xbox is not gonna go in a different direction. Because you wanted that, right?
I mean, I wanted them to sit their ass down somewhere and focus on actually getting their pipeline together, delivering some of these games that have been announced since 2017. Perhaps, maybe,
Hey,
you know,
call me crazy, but people are being calling me crazy for wanting actual gameplay for Hellblade 2.
I mean, honestly, they're just calling you that because they know it's not going to get produced. They have no idea when the hell it's coming. If we listened to them, we would have swore we would have been playing Hellblade 2 this year, which clearly didn't happen. But we got told time and time again, Hellblade 2, people are going to be upset. They're going to be crying in the streets. All the ponies are going to be mad. And it's like, dude, we still haven't even seen any real gameplay. So, yeah, so I really don't give a shit who got promoted. I mean, that's neat, cool. All the people who are already rich got richer potentially. Like, that's nice. No one gives a fuck. Like, let me know what you're actually doing that actually helped create games and get games to the forefront. That's what I want to know. And not, you know, some other acquisition or some other thing about you spending more money. Unless it's on these studios internally that are behind these projects that need to get out the door. That's what I want to hear. I want to hear the State of Decay team is not struggling anymore and they're getting the help they need in order to produce a AAA level State of Decay game. That's what I want to hear. So until we get that news, I don't really care what Xbox has to say at this point. So that's where I'm at. So yeah, fuck them promotions.
I see. We've Saraband
Yeah,
second.
I really don't give a fuck really. The same people get promoted for doing a terrible job. Congratulations. I mean, you know, if you can play the game, play the game. But you know who doesn't play games? Xbox fans. Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. But like Nate said, show me the fucking games, right? I don't give a fuck about who gets promoted or does what. Like the only thing that would be great if somebody gets replaced, and maybe then we're gonna see some actual games getting produced instead of keep getting delayed or getting in production hell or whatever, right? So yeah, I mean, what else is there to say?
Yeah, I mean they've got like the opposite problem of PlayStation right now, uh, which is uh, annoying me. They have too much communication, uh,
Yep.
to the point where like you're having shows that are literally about fucking nothing. Like that last show that they just had, that shit gave us no information at all. It was just literally another showcase for no reason. I was like, dude, okay, you guys need to tone down the amount of showcases while PlayStation needs to speak the fuck up. Like, like complete opposite issue. And
Mhm.
Xbox needs to focus less on that and more on delivering like the PlayStation launch lineup in first 2 years. That's what their shit needs to look like from now on, minimum. Like especially with all these acquisitions and so on and so forth. Like there's just zero excuse at this point. You have literally more studios than anyone else on the planet at this point. The excuses are gone. COVID is a long way away from where we're about to be. We're about to be 4 years past that shit. I'm sick of it. Like if they're not producing this year, like I don't know what to tell you. And then on top of that, some of the other stuff, um, you said, but despite the promotions, this isn't that particularly. But some of the stuff that I've heard is weird because uh, some people are thinking that we're gonna see like, I mean, not that we wouldn't, but some people are thinking we're gonna see Avowed as early as next year, and to me, I that doesn't sound good. I don't know why people think that sounds good. Like the time frame that they've been working on Avowed, as opposed to the time when Outer Worlds came out, and the fact that they're already starting Outer Worlds 2, um, kind of tells me that Avowed is going to be much, much, much smaller than people think if we're
I
going to see it next year.
mean, I'm gonna cut you off for one simple second. Did you forget that Eva got downgrade?
Oh no, I've seen that. I mean, it got incredibly downgraded. The art style changed entirely, and it
We
looks
already we
ridiculous.
we already knew that Avowed it's gonna be, it's gonna cut corners.
But like the scale is the one thing. Like people keep thinking this is going to be like Obsidian's Skyrim, and I'm like, based on what I'm seeing, and if it's coming out next year, I just don't see them having the content available to do that in a time frame that is as early as next year. Now, I could be wrong, but I still think if we see it next year, the game is just going to be significantly smaller than anybody's thinking.
Avowed is gonna be a 60, 70 on meta.
Think so?
69.
I don't think this one hit an 80.
I mean,
No.
Obsidian does pretty well, but I don't remember what Outer Worlds got. So
I mean, all I could hear is that Bethesda, which one? Bethesda, what's that studio?
Arcane.
The, yeah, Arcane never missed,
I mean,
and then they
I
got
would have told you that first of all. People were lying who fucking said
Redfall.
that. Yeah, Arcane definitely missed before that, but again, people were too busy capping to keep it real. I would have told you that because I didn't even like Dishonored like that. Like to me, Dishonored was like a 70 game. Like
Mm.
in the first place, like it was always okay, but people acted like Dishonored was like a 9.5 to a 10, but it wasn't.
Mm.
So yeah, I knew that was bullshit from the jump. Now, did I think they were gonna go as far downhill as Redfall? No, but yeah, I mean, the people were definitely capping for that.
Give me a second, because I have the feeling that Avowed is gonna get the same treatment as Redfall. What I mean by that is apparently Avowed was gonna have multiplayer, but they scrapped that.
That would be surprising from Obsidian, considering they don't typically do that. They're like a
Give
single
me a second,
player
I'm looking it up
WRPG
right now.
focus. Yeah, that would be extremely surprising from Obsidian, though. So if that was cut, I mean, I could understand that. I haven't seen anything official on that, so
I don't even know how to type to write that name. Avowed with an A or E? I think it's an A. Never mind. Avowed multiplayer. Um, here. Avowed was originally going to be a multiplayer game.
who said that?
This is from IGN.
So it's a rumor. They're reporting on a rumor, or
No,
they have that as
they
factual because I've never heard that announcement ever.
so here, speaking in a documentary celebrating Obsidian 20 years anniversary, studio head and founder Fergus Urquhart admitted to being wrong about pushing for Avowed to be a multiplayer game. One of the things where I really pushed was that Avowed was going to be a multiplayer, and I kept on that for a long time, he said. I know in the end it was the wrong decision to keep on pushing it.
Okay, so it just sounds like something they were pushing around while they had ideas, not that it
I
was
would
going
be
to be one. Because what he said is
um
he was pushing for it to be one, not that it ever was one. That's what I'm saying.
mm,
So that wording is important. Again, you have to keep that in mind when you're talking about documentary series and stuff, because if you were to say that, you could say the same thing. Like Aloy was gonna have a sword at one point, you know,
no, but
but she
here's
didn't.
the thing. Here, forcing a multiplayer project as a studio famous for single player game caused too many issues for Obsidian. Nah, this is not uh this
No,
is
no, no.
not
You're
a
missing the
fit.
point. You're missing my point. If it was not announced publicly, then it was never that. That's what I'm telling you.
But
Internal documentation and discussion about what a game could have been is not the same as announcing the game as a multiplayer game. That's what I'm saying. That's the difference. Aloy, as far as you're
what if
concerned, as far as me and you are concerned, Aloy never had a sword. That
okay, I
bull.
feel you on that end. But do we know if they tried to give her a sword and see how it
Yes,
worked,
yes.
gameplay
They
wise?
tried multiple weapons. It's in the documentary.
Mm-hmm.
I think Morgan watched it multiple times as
Okay,
well.
I see.
So that's what I'm saying.
Then
Like, this is again why they don't typically share internal information because games go through 50,000 different iterations and ideas that get cut all the time. Again, this is why I said the same thing about Cyberpunk. We'll never get
I was about to talk to you about it, how I had a conversation with you, or rather almost like a debate, about
yeah,
how they cut wall running
yeah, exactly. This is why
from the game.
we'll never get that preview ever again. It doesn't matter how much fans beg. the way that they showed that game off will forever be just shown to press, and we'll never get that preview ever again
Mm-hmm.
because it looked amazing and it looked great. And even though a large majority of what was in that trailer is actually in the game, people stuck to what was in the trailer that is not in the game, and that's
I
all
did.
people wanted to talk about.
I stuck with that. Yeah.
Yeah.
The only reason I mentioned that is because I was afraid that they put too much budget in it to the point where they had to downscale the game to what it is right now. Because we clearly seen the difference between the reveal and where they now at with the game. Like it's downgraded to hell.
Well, so graphical downgrade is one thing. We never knew the scope. I'm just saying that their games are typically big, and people were calling this
Mm-hmm.
Obsidian Skyrim, and I'm saying if the downgrade to the graphics and art style change is also present in the scale, then we're definitely not getting anything anywhere near the size of Skyrim.
I see. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Thanks for clarification.
Yep.
Because I was genuinely prepared to find out that it's gonna have that Redfall treatment. I really hope it doesn't. Which again I talked with Morgan about with PlayStation, how them shifting from pivoting from single player to multiplayer is causing Dev to be upset. We're gonna see how that is gonna turn out. And with Avowed, we're gonna wait and see. Um, Realistically,
Hmm.
what do you think 2024 is gonna be for Xbox? What do you think is gonna actually be released?
I mean, we can pray Hellblade 2. Like that's such a loaded question because they bought so many studios that like people are going to obviously attempt to accredit certain things that have been in development forever, right? People are going to be like, oh, Xbox first party studio released Call of Duty, next year. And it's like, okay, like let's not be ridiculous. Obviously when we talk about that, we're not talking about Call of Duty, from a franchise they just bought. They're literally basically first party in name at this point because they were bought. um
Wait 1 second. Um, Nelson
I
said that
already
someone is too
already
quiet.
already messaged that. He didn't say
Oh,
anything
okay.
past
Sorry
that.
about
So
that, cause my chat wasn't loading up, so I just saw it.
yeah. So
This
he's got to
game
say
that it's
something.
showing from level 5, when is this coming out? This year or next year?
It's supposed to still be coming out this year.
That's a game I'm super excited about.
I am excited
Um,
about it.
but yeah, beyond that, I'm expecting. So I didn't know about Avowed. That would be good for them to. So you wouldn't. So do we know how long Avowed being in development right now?
I mean, you could just look at the end of the development for the Outer Worlds, the post support they had to do for that, plus the whatever the collectors they did the DLC, and then they did the Spacer's Choice Edition, which is apparently still messed up, and I'm not sure they're ever gonna fix it. Um, Supposedly on PlayStation, it's messed up on PlayStation. Um, which again doesn't really surprise me because,
I
well,
mean, you have a
look
PC.
look who owns them. I mean, I do, but I would have liked to play the game on there and platinum it, but you know, it's their loss. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so I mean, if we're being realistic, first party because obviously Stalker 2 is not first party, but they're gonna cry and whoop and holler over Stalker 2 if that game actually comes out next year. Um, but again, that's not first party, so that's not part of the question. So
Mm-hmm.
Hellblade 2 has pretty much all but has to come out next year. Like, I don't even know what to tell you if it doesn't come out next year. Um,
Dude, um, I
I
don't
don't
know
know.
what to
I
tell
don't know.
you. Hellblade seems to be in a limbo.
It's in a weird spot, man. Something's going on with a lot of these games they have in the pipeline. Like I've seen somebody try to accredit all these games. They're like, well, there's 4 games we know about next year, and I was like, name them. And like 2 of them, they were like, unknown such and such game from such dev, and I was like, bro, we don't know that. Like, you can't be counting games you don't even know the name of. Like talking about they coming out next year. Like people are just fucking weird, man. So yeah, that we should be getting Perfect Dark, but considering we haven't even seen Perfect Dark in about five
What
years,
happened with Perfect Dark, dude?
I mean, they had to get help from Crystal Dynamics. So
I remember that part, but they haven't showed it after all. After anymore after that,
nope.
their biggest showcase when they showed that new project from what you call it, Atlas. They didn't show you Perfect Dark whatsoever.
No, Perfect Dark has been completely MIA.
And
Um,
then they showed you the gameplay of, sorry, excuse me, the cutscene of Hellblade
hmm
2. I don't know, dude.
Honestly, I couldn't tell you much else besides that.
So real talk, are you expecting Hellblade 2 to be massively different in the sense of gameplay, or is it gonna be the same of one?
I mean, all this time they taken and all this money they're using up. I mean, I would expect it to be at the very least a tier above what they did prior. I would like to see that game come out and hear the phrase that's so synonymous with PlayStation sequels, which is it does everything better than the predecessor, and actually see that to fruition. But I don't know at this point, man. They seem like they're having difficulties or something weird's going on. So I want to have faith in them, but I don't know, man. It just seems like too many studios, run up under Xbox as a first party, and then they just start to struggle. So I don't know. We'll see what
Yeah, so
happens.
here, Hellblade 2 combat designer, we're raising the bar.
Allegedly, I'll believe it when I see it. Because right now,
And he announces radical changes to combat system.
well, right now they've showed us absolutely nothing related to
They
combat.
didn't.
So again, I'll believe it when I see it.
Um, I remember that on rail section with the spear, like
Mm-hmm.
that did like compare that to Horizon Zero Dawn reveal trailer, gameplay trailer. I
It's a
don't know,
massive
is it
difference.
just me or one developer was confident in their showing and the other one is like, here, a snippet, we're
Well, that's what I'm
working
saying.
on it.
Like to me, when you keep showing me all these weird ways that you're showing off the game, it tells me you have something to hide. Now, whether that's something good or bad, I'm not gonna say because I don't know. But we've got people out here damn near trying to scream, oh man, when it finally comes out, everybody's gonna be jealous. You know, it's gonna be a potential
Why
game of the
would we? We
year.
have a PC, we can play it.
I know, but you can't tell these lames that.
Mm-hmm.
They stay thinking somebody's mad or upset or this, that, and the third or whatever. I'm gonna tell you the only thing I'm upset about or upset about in this current climate is inflation and Microsoft buying shit and not doing anything with it.
Mm-hmm.
So when we can get past those two
It,
things, I'll be wonderful.
and then there's also State of Decay 3. What happened to that game?
I'm gonna promise you, we'll be
Have
lucky. We'll be lucky if we see State of Decay 3 in 2025 with a release in 2026.
have we seen anything from State of Decay 3?
No, you saw an outsourced CGI trailer,
Oh,
which for
cool.
the record, they didn't want released because they didn't want expectations set for the game from a
So
CGI
why did
trailer
they
that they didn't make
reveal it?
because Microsoft forced them to.
I mean,
Damn.
you got to remember they didn't really have a choice at the time because they weren't really launching any games on the Xbox. That was back when the consoles were launching and they had to show what was coming, and they didn't have any first party games at launch, so they were kind of forced to just kind of show everything, all their cards, right? So be like, well, we don't have any games to play day one, but hey, the roadmap for Xbox, here it is. You're gonna get this, this, and this, and this, and this. No promises when you're gonna get those games, but they're coming. So I
Hmm.
mean, they were kind of backed into a wall. They really didn't have a choice but to show their hand.
Hmm.
I mean, you got to
When
remember,
PlayStation
this is the
released,
team that showed Everwild, a game
Yeah,
that the
that
team
got reworked.
didn't even know what it was at the time, and then
Yeah, that's what I'm
exactly, and then
saying.
it
And
got reworked.
they had to do all that. Well, I'm not saying like, they weren't forced at gunpoint, but it's like when you're selling a console, but you don't have any first party support for it the day you launch it. I mean, what else can you do but show, well, the games are coming. Here's what we got planned for you.
so
We got to put something together to get people to want to buy and invest in the Xbox. So,
so a question: who started next gen? Do you guys remember?
who started? What do you mean?
Who launched? Who kicked off next gen?
Like you're saying who launched their console first? Is that what you're asking?
No, who revealed their console first?
I think it was Xbox.
Why would you do that?
What do you mean?
Technically, it's Nintendo because the Switch was next gen.
Dude,
Oh
sit
man.
down. This another count. But real talk though, like, you're saying, and what you're saying is obviously true. They didn't have anything. Their games were long way ahead. So why poke the bear? And with the bear, I mean PlayStation, and reveal your next gen console if you had
I
nothing
mean,
for it.
because they wanted to be, it's all. I mean, it's marketing. It's all about being first. Being the first to reveal, being the first to show, getting in people's head first. Like it's just marketing strategy.
Which they failed at, because look what PlayStation have released, look what Xbox has released. And mind you,
Yeah, I mean, it's
this
all in
is
the eye of the beholder. Because I mean, some people think that this was a great year for Xbox. They love Starfield and they loved Hi-Fi Rush and they loved Forza Motorsport. So for
but here's
them,
the thing though, none of these would have been Xbox exclusive, so they would have had zero.
true. But I
Hi-Fi
mean, you
Hi-Fi
know,
was never exclusive, Redfall was never exclusive. So so they had nothing. What was their, like, here's what I'm not understanding. Like, PlayStation ended their cycle, PlayStation 4, with Last of Us 2, Spider-Man. I forgot if Spider-Man was a thing back
no,
then.
no, that was 2018.
Last of Us 2 and Ghost of Tsushima back to back. While the Xbox had nothing, so you would assume Xbox developers were already working with the Series X to release something.
Yeah, I mean, they were working on Halo. It just with COVID kind of fucked up the dev cycle for that. I mean, because before they really bought Bethesda and all of them, they really didn't have studios like that. So Bethesda really jumped up the surge of first party studios the
Mm.
Xbox had. So I mean, I can kind of understand why they didn't. I mean, it's still crazy that they didn't have any first party games, but with the lack of studios and COVID being like the perfect storm, they were kind of fucked with 2020. And yeah, they were kind of left with their, pants down with no first party besides what Gears Tactics that really
Mm.
no one no one
And
really
Gear
cared about.
Pop.
And who? Oh, well, that's a mobile game.
Gear
Like
Pop.
that's not that's a mobile game, sir.
Okay. I mean, it is
But
from the third party, so there is that. Okay.
yeah.
Um, anyone have anything else to say about this topic? Making sure before I move on to the next one. Then, before I do so, let me celebrate a gamer. Congratulations on getting the plat in Spidey 2, Morgan.
Thanks.
And going back to it, going from Xbox to PlayStation, um, uh, Connie Booth is let go by PlayStation, and not only her, her entire team. And you have PlayStation fans split on it. One fan, one part are not a fan of that, and that's another confirmation that PlayStation is shifting from their what you call it, their identity. And other fans are thinking, oh come on, that's just studio restructuring and stuff like what you call it, PlayStation restructuring and stuff like that. Especially with Jim Ryan being gone, you're gonna expect other people to leave and stuff like that. Also, she have worked on PlayStation for almost like 30 something plus years. So my question is her leaving, does that scare you as a PlayStation fan, or do you think, oh, that's just nothing? It's just PlayStation at its finest, and they're gonna
Well, I
survive.
mean, before a week ago, I didn't even know of her existence. So,
Me neither. Me neither. We play
like this
games. We don't.
whole people being like worried. I mean, like y'all didn't even know she existed yesterday. Like, I don't understand what this fear is all of a sudden now that y'all know this random person. Not calling her random. I'm not trying to downgrade or downplay her role in PlayStation because it sounds like she had an important job and she was there for a lot of the games that we like, but it's just like, I mean, I didn't really know her like that. I don't really know exactly what her role is and what she did for
Nah,
these
she did
projects.
some amazing stuff. Like she's the one behind
She
Horizon.
she didn't come up with that idea though. She's a producer. She just like helped greenlight it. Like that's the
I
thing. Like I don't
mean,
know what
that
like
is
people
that is
people are making it
important.
seem like she came up with all of these games, and it's just
No,
like,
green lighted is important though.
yeah, it is important, but I, again, I'm not see the way I'm about to say it is hella disrespectful. Like it's great, her job was great, she did a good job, but I just don't see it as like a doom thing. Like I think whoever is going to replace her is going to continue to just let because PlayStation Studios at this point know what they're doing. Like it would be dumb for somebody to come in and just try to like just change them entirely and like be like, no, we're not gonna do this, we're not gonna do that, we're not gonna do that, we're gonna switch it up. Like they at this point they know what they're doing. They're a self-driving ship. Like they don't really need somebody to come in and restructure everything. Like I feel like whoever comes in, they're gonna be fine. Like it's gonna somebody's gonna come in, take the reins, and just continue down the path that is already carved there. That's really all you got to do for them to continue making the games that they've been making. I mean, it's not like PlayStation Studios need their handheld or they're not gonna know what the hell they're doing. Um, Shout out to her though. She did a great job. I'm like people are acting like she about to be on the street though. I'm like with a resume like that, she's gonna have if she wants another job, she'll have one by the end of the week.
Please talk. I
Like
would not be surprised if Microsoft to pick her up.
sure, if they wanted to, yeah. I mean, they honestly need somebody to go in to come in there and tell them what the hell to see. That's somebody who needs. That's a company that needs that kind of help. Okay, like people to tell them what because as we've seen Xbox, deny or turn down gaming ideas like, oh, we don't want to do a Spider-Man, oh, we don't want to do this game, oh, we don't want to do that, we don't want to do this, and all of them, or approving things that nobody asked for. Like they're the ones who seem to have an issue with that. So yeah, sure, if she wants to go to
But
Microsoft and help take on that big of a task, because I'm sure that would be a fun challenge for her. Absolutely, take on those reins.
you know what?
But
You know what this remind me of?
what?
Who was that woman from Santa Monica leaving, going to what we call it, to Stadia, only for Stadia
Yeah,
to
it's like
kill
when
it.
you try to tackle a challenge. I mean, I'm sure it was an interesting challenge, like, because Santa Monica is a great studio. They've helped, she's helped them, get to where they're going. And now she's like, oh, I could do the same thing for Stadia. I could, I can make my own, impression over here. I could, build it up and it'd be, my name on it. But that was just a sinking ship. Nobody can save that shit. But
Mm.
maybe, maybe, yeah, Connie can do the same thing with Microsoft, make like a challenge, like, ooh, here's somebody somebody that needs this type of direction, a company that needs this type of structure. I can get in here, I can help them out, and that's what she wants to do. I'm not gonna hate it all. Like, do what you want. Like, but I'm not on the mindset of this is like the end of PlayStation. Like Jaffe was trying to make it seem like it was some world ending shit. Like,
Yeah,
oh
when he posted that before he named drop her,
yeah,
I
he
was
was being.
genuinely expecting Naughty Dog to close studio.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing that tells you how out of touch he is, or at least that, or he was clickbaiting the fuck out of people, like,
He did.
or like, cause the way he worded it made it seem like it was like doom and gloom, and
Yeah,
PlayStation was about to close out the next week, like it was some monumental like catastrophe that was headed towards PlayStation. And again, I feel like the way I'm saying it is like insulting Connie and the work she's done. I'm not trying to do that. But I was thinking, like you said, it was thinking like some studio closing or somebody like
but
Neil
that's the thing.
or Corey leaving or something like that, something crazy like that. And then it was this woman that 99% of people on Twitter have never heard of, and and he
Because
told us,
you work on the background, that's why. In the
yeah,
background.
yeah, and I'm just like, and he was just like, okay, here's all the reasons why you should be upset about this, and I'm just like, um, okay, but it's just like she's not the only producer though. There's multiple people that do that job that she does, so I'm just like, I think it's more because he had a personal relationship, like, professional relationship with her, and he knew her back when, he was there at Santa Monica,
Mm-hmm.
and, she helped him when he was working, on God of War and stuff like that. So, he knows her as a colleague and everything like that, and that's why it hit home for him more, because it's more of a personal level. But and that's why he got the backlash, and I think he was just like, he was upset that people weren't as upset as he was, and he was just like, I don't understand why you guys are like making it seem like this ain't a big. I'm just like, listen, David, like, I don't know. It's I wish her the best on her next endeavor, whatever that is. If she chooses retirement, or if she chooses to continue working in the game industry, or maybe a whole completely different industry, I wish her the
Mm-hmm.
best. I don't feel like this is a doom and gloom for PlayStation. I'll wait until I see what, at the end of the day, it's about the games for me, and I'm gonna hold off any opinions until we get a proper showcase and see what the A team, the A squad, i.e. Naughty Dog, Gorilla,
Mm-hmm.
Bend, where their games are headed, what we're getting from them, and I'll make my judgment from there. But as far as right now, I'm not seeing this. I'm
Gotcha.
waiting to see exact. More important role I care about is who's about to be the next head of PlayStation. Like
Exactly.
Yeah, cause that's
who's
gonna.
that's the role that I'm keeping my eye on. Like I said, no disrespect to Connie, but
But I have a question
there's a
for
little
you.
bit more of an important role that I'm looking at.
Whoever
Yeah,
they name,
yeah.
do you know who that person is?
Do I know? Well, I mean, I don't know because they haven't named him yet. So I
No,
don't
no,
know
no,
if
no,
I'll.
no.
I
Let's
don't know
say
if I'll know.
Oh, so do you follow the business side of PlayStation or not really?
No, not really.
We're
But
not.
you know, it's
The
who.
interim person is not the person. If that's what you're trying to ask,
Yeah, no,
Morgan.
no, no, no. I know. I am fully aware of that, and they're waiting to announce the actual person they're gonna be running.
Yeah. No, maybe it'll be somebody we already know, maybe somebody within, or maybe it'll be somebody who completely new, who or came out of nowhere, or left field, somebody who's in the industry that we don't know about and who they promote to be. But at the end of the day, I'm gonna be like looking at their resume and see what type of policies
Mm-hmm.
they enforce. Like what have they said about gaming? What do they feel about gaming? What's their impression of PlayStation? What are their plans going forward with PlayStation? Do you like
Okay.
the idea that a PlayStation's first party being, they're being the strong narrative story leading in the industry, or are you trying to be like, nah, I like, the new direction of us doing live service, and that's kind of the plan I want to go forward. Like, I'm just trying to
Mm-hmm.
see what's the mentality of whoever the hell is coming in next, because that
Mm-hmm.
that right there more than whoever's going to replace, you know, Connie is going to determine what the future of PlayStation is going to look like. So,
Okay. So what? I know you didn't want me to cover rumors, but
oh man, here
let's
we go.
let's play along for a bit.
Oh
If
God.
if if this if this if this happened, would you be okay for it? New changes coming, new deals and acquisition in 2024. Is that something you're looking forward to?
New acquisitions?
Yeah, for
That
PlayStation.
that doesn't.
Mm, I
That depends on
mean,
what they are.
yeah, like they've had plenty of acquisitions in the past year that I didn't give a crap about. So
Exactly.
it's
Without
like
detail, it doesn't
they
mean anything.
yeah, they got Haven, they got Concord, they got Bungie, they got the other Deviation or whatever the hell they're called. I didn't care about any of those acquisitions. So again, it'll have to be something I give a shit about, because if they announce some other small studio or small or other studio that it's going to be handling live service games, I don't really give a fuck.
Okay. And the other thing is they wanna rely, which is that they've been doing, on
Hmm.
third-party developers to make games for them.
I mean,
Like,
that's a smart strategy for PlayStation, because again,
is
I
it
keep saying,
so?
I say it is because, I know people want them to acquire more, but it's like, because of what Microsoft is doing. But you got to remember, Microsoft and Sony are on two different levels when it comes to like spending, and they don't have the spending power Microsoft does, is to like toss billions of dollars at publishers and studios to get them under their uh under their mantle. So for PlayStation, the best strategy to go toe to toe with Microsoft would be to do more
Mm-hmm.
partnerships with third parties, like they're doing with Square Enix and Final Fantasy,
Okay.
and like what they're doing with the China Hero project, and getting those games exclusive for PlayStation. That's the smarter route for PlayStation to go. So I have no
Mm-hmm.
problem with them doing that.
So yeah, so apparently multiple contact with Japanese third-party companies such as
Yeah.
Sega, Bandai Namco, Square Enix, and others to develop exclusive games for PlayStation 5.
Hmm.
So that's something we've been seeing for the longest now.
Yeah.
This is the key that I'm happy with if
Oh,
it's
I know,
true.
I know. That's why I saw you posted it, because I was like, the one thing I already know what you're gonna say. I already know the one thing you care about is them bringing back them old ass IPs.
No, 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 no.
What?
That
You not happy
I
about that?
I am happy about that, but Wipeout I never cared for it. Um,
Oh
r-
man.
I don't like
reducing,
Wipeout.
reversing the orientation toward live service games.
I doubt they are actually gonna. They just invested in one of the biggest live service
I feel it, but
developers with being Bungie. I
but
highly doubt they're
uh,
making a 180 with that.
correct, correct me if I'm wrong, but it feels like live service ship have sailed.
I mean, they haven't even tried yet though. That's
No,
the
no, no,
thing.
no. I'm talking in the industry. It seems like the industry moves are away from live
Sir,
service.
are me and you looking at two different industries right now? Because every other day, I swear I see a new live service game come out.
And we're also seeing live service games shut down.
Oh, of course, but I'm saying that like I mean that's been it from the beginning, but that hasn't stopped them from continuously making live service games.
Hmm.
Cause they're all trying to get that fucking Fortnite. They're all trying to hit the lottery, and they just know it's a numbers game. If
Mhm.
eventually, if I make some game, some shit'll hit the wall. Somebody will it'll be a Fortnite or it'll be a what many of those other fucking live service
Hmm.
games, and
I mean, they
PlayStation
have
hasn't tried
Jenkins.
yet. Yeah, but PlayStation hasn't even tried yet, so I don't see them doing a 180 until like they've made a couple games that just haven't resonated with gamers that aren't doing well. And like I can see them
Okay.
failing a couple and then being like, all right, fuck it, fuck this. But until they at least try one or two games, they're not switching up yet. Like they've
I
invested too much at this point.
I see. Um.
It'd be
Nate,
nice though.
yeah, yeah, I would absolutely nice. Nate, what's your thoughts?
Yes, if it was real, obviously, because I've stated they need to pay attention to their Japanese presence far more than it seems like they have, publicly anyway. Um, and they need to lock down some of this stuff. They need to make sure, at the very least, that they're not going to get blindsided again, like the ZeniMax purchase, by any of the remaining publishers or developers, um, left in the Japanese space. Right now, like I said, they're
Xbox is coming for Sega. Sega's getting acquired next by Xbox. Count it.
Well, I was about to say, like, let's not to jump too far ahead. Apparently, Microsoft wanted to buy Square Enix. They thought of that.
yeah. I mean, we saw the potential number thing or whatever they put out, but regardless, like I said, PlayStation needs to stay on their job. They no more being asleep at the wheel. No more automatic de
But
facto
they seem to be doing
exclusives.
so. If
I mean, I'm
you're
not,
partnering,
but that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about the potential. You said the potential of what they should be
yeah,
doing, and they mentioned,
yeah,
securing third party relationships with Japanese developers. And yes, like I said, that is what they should be doing. They need to tighten those relationships up, make sure everything is top tier. And if anybody at any point is even considering merging with anyone, they need to make sure it's them. Period. When it
mm,
comes to the remainder of what's left, they cannot afford to lose any of them. Now, like I
mm,
said, Microsoft right now is in a state where they basically dominate everything but that, as far as like what they have from a first party standpoint. Like PlayStation has what they do, and then it's like everything else under the sun, Microsoft has snatched up a dev to do those things.
mm,
So
like they
the one thing
removed
they have is
of
that.
they removed what you call it what's that genre Western RPG
Yeah, I mean
from the industry
potentially
for PlayStation.
the majority
So
the majority of people who make those are pretty much under the banner of Xbox. There's a few
yeah,
Mhm.
remainders out there, obviously CD Projekt Red, who has
Mhm.
stated they currently don't wish to be purchased, nor should they need to be by the profits they've made.
Yeah, I
And
don't
then
think
you
they
would
can
you
because
have
they're
want
part of the.
PlayStation to buy them?
I don't think they can because they're part of like the government,
for
like the Polish
Poland,
government.
yeah.
Yeah, they make a substantial amount of money for them, and the government won't allow them to be acquired, so
I mean, hopefully.
they couldn't.
So yeah, so they're in a good position with them. They have a great relationship with them. Um, and then of course the other one would be right now. That's obviously big news, but they've been big for me for a long time, which is Larian Studios, with Baldur's Gate, and prior to that, Divinity: Original Sin 2.
I
That is
wouldn't be surprised
another
if
top
Xbox has
dev.
approached them.
Would you want PlayStation to acquire Larian?
I mean, if the alternative was Xbox, then absolutely, because Xbox doesn't need them, and to me, that's dangerous. So
Mm.
PlayStation needs them, and PlayStation thrives on storytelling. So, but
Then they would do release it on PC.
Doesn't it take
Cause
they can
uh,
release it on PC. I don't
doesn't
care
it
about that.
take them like a I mean I could be wrong about this, but doesn't it take them like a long time? Isn't their development cycle pretty pretty long.
Yeah,
Larian.
as a well, that's what I'm saying. Like that, they could help them shore up that pipeline,
Yeah,
give them
yeah.
more, more
Because I know
devs.
if that's the case, even if they have money and resources, it's just they're kind of like Rockstar. They just kind of move at a slower pace. I know that PlayStation won't necessarily feel like that's a good investment if it takes them that long to get on a return.
I mean, yeah, potentially. It just depends on what they've got in the works, right? Like it's kind of like Obsidian was another one that used to take really long on everything, and then they came out with a couple more nimble projects, right? So, but that
Mm.
was like a product of like what they had to do at the time, because money and a couple other things they had tried. They tried Alpha Protocol, which failed tremendously, which was a huge money sink investment um,
Alpha Protocol from who?
from Obsidian.
Oh,
Yeah, it was that much of a failure. Most people don't even remember it. But that was one of the things that got them in like really big financial trouble. So they got into some smaller stuff. They still, still kind of kept the spirit of what the company loves to do alive in those games, but they're very different. They're very different games. So yeah, but that was like a big failure from Obsidian. That game was a mess, um, which is ironic because now they're on the screen. But yeah, when it comes to a team that does anything that's like Skyrim or Fallout related, yeah, I mean Xbox has got that locked down. Um, so yeah, PlayStation can't afford to lose whoever else is on the market. I don't think they will. I don't really think that's the major danger. Like I said, the major danger for them is the constant loss of these previously de facto exclusives. Like I said, the Yakuza series, Persona, the next game from
well,
Atlas
about to
team.
ask you, do you think then they're gonna lock six?
I mean, I hope they did it years ago, because if they haven't, then they probably won't be able to get that deal right now. So they would have had to get that deal
Yeah, I don't.
prior.
I think Persona 6. I would say, yeah, I agree. If they hadn't locked that down before, with the mentality that Sega has going forward, it's gonna be multi-plat.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're pro multi-plat now. They don't want to do. I don't think they really care to do exclusive deals like that anymore.
Mm.
Yeah. Microsoft
Okay.
has shown them the money, but like I said,
All right,
they're
yeah,
real.
they're friends with Microsoft now.
Yeah, think about
You
it.
know
For
what?
years you had Yakuza. Like I said, you had the Persona series. You had, they're still getting Final Fantasy to a
The
degree.
is the is series that's
Yeah, I
still
mean, I'm getting
exclusive.
I'm getting to that. But
Oh,
again, that's super small though. Like the bigger factor, even beyond the E series from that team, is the Trail series. The Trail series is massive,
I was about to name that
and it
to
is a
interrupt them, but I feel you.
yeah, it's a ton of games. Like you don't want to lose that. I know it doesn't seem that significant because everybody hasn't jumped in on it, but largely a lot of people haven't jumped in on it because Trails in the Sky, the trilogy, isn't available on modern day consoles, and you need that to get the whole story. But PlayStation and PC and I mean even Nintendo, like I said, none of those are a real major threat to PlayStation, and then PlayStation still gets some of those exclusive to PlayStation. First and foremost, they might come out on the other stuff later, but PlayStation still gets quite a few of those exclusive for at least a time. So it's like you can't afford for all of those games, number one, to show up, because let's be honest, if the East series and the Trail series shows up on Microsoft consoles, the first thing they're going to do, they're going to grab the lot of them that are available the same way they did Yakuza and try to
Put them
slap
in
them
Game
in
Pass.
Game Pass.
Yep.
Exactly.
And
So,
they're gonna boost their numbers. No, real talk, we haven't seen them boost their numbers up at all. Like, uh, we heard it from Phil Spencer himself. Console Game Pass console wise, they're stagnant. The only Game Pass that's still getting numbers is PC.
hmm
Okay, so final question before I move to Weeb, because I know he wanna say something. I think the biggest danger for PlayStation is Microsoft next year, because they're done with Activision. Who they gonna go after next?
Yeah, but that was.
Or
I
do
mean,
you
Same.
that's
think
that's
they're gonna
essentially
let
that's
lay
essentially what
low?
I said though. PlayStation can't lose anyone to them anymore. Like
But what can they
no
do
one left.
though?
I mean, we don't know because we don't know who Microsoft is going after if they're going to even acquire
Precisely.
anyone next year. But
But
we
this is
no, I
why I
said
believe.
we don't. But we're not PlayStation. We're not
Yeah,
conducting
no, I
corporate
understand.
espionage.
But I have a question. Is it not almost like either slippery slope or they're literally going falling for Microsoft trap with this one? Because remember, they partnered up with Bethesda to make uh um what these games um Deathloop was one, and the other one was
Ghostwire.
Ghostwire Tokyo. Thank you very much. And then what happened? Microsoft went in and bought the whole publisher. So let's say they partner up with uh
So wait. So
Sega.
before you go that far, they didn't purchase them
No, they
because
didn't.
wait, hold
They
on.
did.
Wait, hold on. They did not purchase them because of those deals that were made. They purchased them because ZeniMax was for sale and available, and they've worked with that team for years. That's why Bethesda was
Okay,
purchased.
I feel you, but let's say they partner for to create, let's say, Devil May Cry, which it started on PlayStation. Let's say to make seven, oh no, six, a PlayStation exclusive, and then Microsoft comes in and buy Capcom.
Yeah, I don't think what's left on the board is that easy when it comes to publishers. I just don't.
You don't think they're gonna be bought
No,
that
they get
easy?
Nintendo next.
I
Um,
don't think what's left on the block is that easy. I think you might see a developer next year, maybe even two. Maybe them.
They need to just get Crystal Dynamics and call it a
Well,
day.
I was gonna say them. They're probably
they're gonna
looking
absolutely
extremely hard
get
at Crystal
Crystal
Dynamics.
Dynamics.
What they get out of that deal will be key though, because what they want out of that deal is they don't just want Crystal Dynamics. They want Crystal Dynamics in the Tomb Raider series, because
IP.
because the Tomb Raider series has already supposedly been talked about, another one coming, and they know how big that is. So they would
Mm,
try to lock that down.
um, is it so? Cause remember, when they locked two, nobody cared.
No, I mean I know that, but it's still a big series. They want the
Okay.
IP is what they want.
Mm,
Microsoft is in an IP war right now. Regardless of what they do with any of this shit, they want it. They want full control of it. That's what they're looking at now.
okay.
They're locking it down the same way. And this is why I tell people this is what makes it so dangerous. Like I said, a lot of these people are really stupid and don't understand what's going on. Um, but they're essentially trying to lock down the console space in that market, or the game development market, in the same way that, like I said, like Office 365. Office 365, and I know you don't really work with people who use this shit and stuff, Omar, but pretty much like 99% of the business workforce use some form of Office 365. Whether they use Outlook. I mean, I don't even know what Morgan does actually, but I'm pretty sure when she gets an email at work, I put money on it. It's through Outlook.
Mm, okay.
Like
Um,
Weeb probably same thing. Outlook. No one uses anything else in the business world. Everybody uses
okay.
Outlook. Like
Yeah, I do. I
what do you use, Weeb?
yeah. Okay.
Um,
Hold
Um,
on, wait. Weeb's answering.
yeah,
sorry.
Outlook.
Outlook.
To be fair, I'm the only one in the office who uses Outlook.
Wait, but hey, they got somebody though. They got somebody.
Yeah, I got somebody.
Uh,
The only reason I'm doing that is because everybody's using Gmail. I'm like, I fucking hate the interface of Gmail.
okay,
Mm,
that's fair. But again, see, most people don't use Gmail because that again locks you to then the Google platform, and then it pulls you out of all that other stuff. But a lot of people use the Office 365 one because you what comes with it. You get you get Outlook, you get Word and PowerPoint
Excel
and Excel. You get the whole suite. That's basically what Microsoft is trying to do in gaming right
in
now.
gaming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey,
They
get Game
already got
Pass and
Call
you
of
get the
Duty.
whole suite. Yeah, exactly. Here's COD. Here's that big game that everybody wants. Hey, 2K. The reason why people keep mentioning 2K is because 2K is the other holy shit thing in the room, right? They're the ones that make
Either
another thing.
2K or what you call it, EA.
Yeah, essentially, something like a FIFA or something would be incredibly dangerous. Like I don't play that shit, but I'm not
Me
stupid.
neither, but
I know
many
how
other does.
ridiculously
Yeah.
like
It's no longer called FIFA though.
is it really not? Did they lose it?
They stopped paying for the license to use the FIFA name, but they're still using the names and the teams and the players and stuff. So
Mm.
Okay.
they're two separate licenses.
That's
Mm-hmm.
crazy.
Yeah, we're gonna see what's gonna happen with that. Okay, so we're gonna go to gaming. Okay, before I do so, I didn't forget you. Wait, what's your thoughts on this whole thing?
Well, actually, you did forget me because you want to move to the next topic.
No, I was joking with you. Go ahead.
Yeah. Oh
I swear I didn't forget you. I'm trying to make a joke, but go ahead.
man. So the question is whether I think PlayStation is going to buy studios
Yeah,
or
what do you think PlayStation gonna buy? And what do you think of the loss of Connie Booth and uh,
Jesus Christ.
yeah, like we've been talking, you haven't interjected yourself in it, but go ahead.
I don't give a shit about Connie Booth because I also didn't know about her before.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, it's not the end of things. Like, and the thing is, I don't even know if it actually has been confirmed that she
No,
was
she's
sort of
confirmed. PlayStation put out a
yeah
statement.
that yeah that they confirmed that they fired her or that she left the company.
No,
Yeah,
they they gave the email of like we would like to thank Connie for her years of service. She is
yeah.
moving on. So you never we don't
Wish
really
her the
know.
best and ever, and
Mhm.
ever.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's kind of thing because I saw somebody, I think it was a journalist, commenting on David Jaffe's tweet, like said like you need to have sufficient independent sources to confirm whether
Mhm.
the story is true
Well,
because like if somebody like says like okay I saw that she was escorted out of the building, right? Yeah, you can interpret that as she's being fired, or that could be standard procedure if somebody leaves the
But
company,
say a lot of
whether
companies have
to
a
be
standard
yeah.
fair,
procedure.
they did let her and her entire team go.
Did they also confirm that their team left, or just her?
No, they just confirmed Connie.
Yeah. So we don't know. Like
We don't know. Fair point.
I'm not trying to damage control or anything. Like if it's true, it's true, right? But the thing is like Jaffe, sorry Jaffe if you're listening to this. He's not listening to this, but uh, uh, you're since you stopped making games, you're basically a content creator, and content creators need to create a controversy, have talking points, and you know, if that's your thing, do your thing, right? I mean, I'm not blaming him for that, but the thing is, like, it's funny where it's saying, like, yeah, I'm not saying it's the end of PlayStation, but I'm suggesting it is. Like, it's really,
Right?
really weird how we put it out there. Like, and the thing is,
He
I
really,
like,
he really does seem bitter, doesn't he?
uh, well, I don't think it's personal. I think it's like what Morgan said. Like, he probably or he definitely knew her and probably grateful for her for helping his career when he was with Sony. And so
Mm,
I get that. I get that if you have some personal connection to somebody that you're gonna feel bitter if you hear that they were fired. So I don't blame him for that. But look, I don't know. I don't think we don't know what actually happened there. So uh, at this point is just pure speculation. Now, if her leaving, if there has an impact, like if she's definitely like one of those behind the scenes people who had a hand in a lot of things, yeah, no, it will definitely be a loss. But I don't think one person. Well, one person cannot do a lot of things, but say if you have like a system in place, you have like a structure in place where you're not just have one competent person who decides and does everything, but also as a team. Yeah, you know, the room as a team is left too. But or if there are other people working on the same level as that person, or you know how to do their job, and there's a process in place. There institutes right in the company where they know exactly how they go over a game, whether they will decide how if we're going to greenlit it or how to manage the process of making sure the game's development is going smoothly. Like that's not just one person. That's those are departments. That's sort of work culture within a company.
Exactly. Hmm.
So that's not going to change if one person uh, certain position leaves. Like I don't really have any doubt that uh, things in that regard will go okay. Like the discussion on whether or not the direction Sony is going is going to be okay. Like with the focus on service games, like yeah, you know that's a different discussion. But regarding the process, you know, of developing games, I have no doubt that that's going to be as high quality as we're used to from the studios that we're getting these games from. And regarding your question about acquisitions, yeah, I definitely think Sony is going to buy some more studios because they kind of have to, right? Because they've now seen, like, even though you know we can argue that Microsoft probably is not going to buy another publisher, is probably not going to make any major acquisitions because they know that how much difficulty they had getting this deal through, there will be, you know, there will be more scrutinized
Mm,
than before. But for Sony, yeah, I definitely think that they're going to, and that like they have an, this basically explicitly state like we have a massive war chest of billions of dollars that we can still spend.
mm,
So you're not going to say that if you're not going to use that, and there are probably some things in the work. And yeah, it would not surprise me if they bought at least one publisher because not every publisher is $60 billion. Like there are a couple of Japanese publishers that have market caps of a few $1 billion, which is, you know, for you and me, of course, still a lot of money, but that's well within their capabilities of acquiring. So it would not surprise me if they did that. The thing is, like, there's nothing really they can do to counteract the fact that they will lose Call of Duty because there is no franchise or IP out there. At least you know, with Japanese publishers, maybe you know if you would
mm.
acquire Take Two, you know, if you had
Yeah,
GTA,
take
yeah,
two or EA. But real
but
talk, I wouldn't want EA because it's
no,
EA.
no, and I don't think that would be that. I mean, it would be possible. I'm saying that they wouldn't be able to acquire them if they wanted to, but yeah, I'm not sure if they want to spend that amount of money
Hmm.
acquiring a publisher for yeah for IPs that might be very profitable, but yeah, how are they going to you know get a return on investment on that? Because for them, that's probably going to be more important than it's going to be for Microsoft because they have a lot of cash on hand because they're a $1 trillion company. Um, but yeah, I have to see. But I think like personally, because that's just me. Like again, I'm not a fan of these acquisitions, but like if the choice is, you know, Microsoft gets their hands on it or Sony, I'd rather have Sony have them because at least they've shown they're capable of managing these studios. And you know, in the long term, like if you're looking at what they've done so far with they've either acquired studios that were already making exclusive games for them, so nothing changes there, and they've bought Bungie, and they just said like, you know, games gonna still be multiplat, so nothing is going to change
Mm-hmm.
there for if you happen to play games on another platform. So in that sense, if let's say if they bought a publisher, they're gonna like if they're gonna let Bungie put their games and everything, they're gonna let that publisher do the same thing. So I don't see any
Yeah, they're gonna want the
difference there.
economical growth to come with it.
Exactly,
Mhm.
exactly. And I think, and hell, they're probably gonna let them put things on Game Pass, but also, that I'd say it's also leveraging it, right? That we know we're never going to get an IP as big as Call of Duty, so rather than doing that, let's get a lot of other popular IPs.
Improvise, eh?
Sorry,
Well,
Improvise,
not
since you
improvise, but
can.
strategically. You
no,
you make strategic acquisitions.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, so the diversify, so that you have,
So who would you
so,
go
so
after if you had the choice?
yeah, you should have like say a critical mass of IPs where you can say, okay, yeah, look, okay, we know that maybe in 10 years time, if you want to play Call of Duty, you have to get an Xbox if you want to play it on console, and you don't want to stream it on a Switch or whatever. But if you don't have a PlayStation, you're gonna miss out on a lot of games. There. And yeah, it might indeed be sort of like a threat in the sense that, yeah, Microsoft, cool, you have Call of Duty, you have a lot of games. Like you could say, okay, we'll make everything exclusive and don't care about all other IPs, but you might have a few interesting IPs that your fans love and would love to keep receiving. So maybe you should reconsider making Call of Duty exclusive. But that's pure speculation. But I definitely think they're gonna buy something, whether it's a large developer or a small publisher. Um, and yeah, I think, like I said, I don't think anything's going to change regarding the games that are going to develop, where they're going to be put out. But it's more, as Nate said, like you're making sure that the other guy is not going to get them, that
Exactly.
they really won't
Mm-hmm.
disappear.
Okay. So going to next topic, which very quick. Gaming in Europe, September 2023. PlayStation consoles sales were up by 175%. Nintendo Switch were down by 28%, and Xbox down 35%. Game sales, game sales 1% down over September 2022. EA, Far Cry, no, FC24, I'm not sure what that is, was top seller. Second was Starfield in sales, 13% lower than Forza Horizon 5 launch. Um, okay, look very quick with PlayStation. No, Xbox, do you think they're gonna be able to get away with an EA or a Take Two? Or do you think regulator gonna say no, enough is enough?
I honestly pray to God that they don't even try to acquire EA because
They're gonna
it's.
try either that or a Japanese studio. Like we already know they wanted to buy
I don't.
Square.
I just don't think so because EA does like make a lot of money, but they make a lot of money off of other licensed games, like games that they don't own the IPs to. Like at
Mm,
any moment they could, like I know they were having a there was an issue going on with EA. I think it was with FIFA, with the license for that or something, or Madden or something like that, where they were having some kind of licensing
FIFA,
issue. Yeah,
FIFA.
okay,
FIFA,
FIFA
FIFA.
then.
Yeah.
And it's just like I don't think PlayStation wants to deal with that.
not PlayStation. I'm talking about Xbox.
Oh, you're talking about Xbox.
Yeah,
Oh,
my
oh,
bad.
okay. Well, yeah, they can have it. Yeah, I don't give a fuck. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I'm talking with the regulators allow it.
No, they won't.
With EA now.
Okay. Um, Alan Wake 2, lady. How is it?
It is good. The end. No, I mean I'm enjoying it. It's good. I mean I'm only like 8 hours in. You know, it's
8 hours in.
yeah, yeah.
So, what is improved from the previous game? Would you say?
I mean you can just kind of look at it and tell, like, it's visually it's a better looking game. It's obviously the gameplay has been improved
Mm-hmm.
drastically. I mean it honestly it plays like Resident Evil. To be honest with you, to be completely
Ah,
honest.
okay. Does it still use the light
Yeah.
darkness mechanic?
Yep.
Okay. And how is the haptic? I had conflicting news about that.
Yeah, it's pretty good. It's not the best haptics ever, but I mean they're there. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's pretty good.
Okay. Um,
I'm enjoying it though. Story is really
nice.
good. I like
So,
the two protagonist thing they got going on.
so
Um, yeah.
yeah.
No, go
And
ahead.
apparently you can switch between worlds.
Yeah. I mean, I really don't want to spoil stuff, but
Toilet. I mean, it's literally. Is it not in the gameplay, or is it no?
is whatnot in the gameplay.
I thought it was a known knowledge, not something
Not
spoilery.
really.
Okay,
Not
then let's move on then
exactly
from
how
it.
it's done and how frequently and stuff like that.
Okay, let's move
Yeah.
on from it then. My so this is an instance where I'm gonna actually not defend Xbox, but like
Oh man.
stand with Xbox players.
Ooh. Ooh.
Mm.
Okay.
Why Xbox Legend doesn't have a review?
I don't think it's a see no see we not about to do that because I don't because that's a
No,
lot
no,
of
no,
games.
no. This is
A
this.
lot of
I'm genuinely curious. Like this is.
listen, a lot of multi-plat games don't have Xbox reviews, and it's very simple why they don't. It's because PlayStation has the bigger fan base, and people know, and reviewers know, that most people at the end of the day are going to play this game on PlayStation. So what's the point
So,
of reviewing it on Xbox?
so is
Like,
that a market leader perk or what?
I mean, I would say so.
So
I mean,
was that the case when?
but wait. Let me ask you, what is it affecting the person who's playing it
Yeah,
on Xbox? If you want to play it on
that's what.
Xbox, just play it on Xbox.
Yeah,
No,
I
no,
don't
no, no.
understand
Was this
why a
oh,
review needs to be on your particular box because it's about the game. It's not about the
because
platform.
now something called media bias?
It's nothing to do with bias. They just
But
got the code where they got the code, and that was it.
but why? But let's give it a buck.
Oh, not you falling for that propaganda crap they be spewing. Oh my God, Omar, no,
What
no.
ABC? What
I
ABC?
This
I
the
said not you
same.
falling for the propaganda that they be spewing that it's media bias. Don't fall for that.
No, I'm not falling for that. It's like I'm literally watching it in front of my eyes.
Oh my, that's
No,
not
no,
what's
no,
Yeah,
no.
but
happening.
Let me explain what I'm
Oh
talking
God.
about.
Uh,
We both know Metacritic sells games, right? Don't we?
no, we don't.
No, because the majority of
We
casuals don't even know
don't.
what Metacritic.
No,
The
no. Hold on.
majority of
A
casual
good
gamers,
game sells
yeah, because
games.
that
Elden Ring
Elden, no,
sold.
nigga, hold on. The entire reason everybody I know that did not know shit about Elden Ring bought that shit is because they heard that shit was smacking. That's it. It was banging. It's a must
Yeah,
fucking
see,
play.
Metacritic.
But
you
it
done got
don't.
him to
No,
tell
it
me out.
doesn't have to be Metacritic. That was just the rating across the board. Metacritic is not the default rating. Metacritic is simply an aggregate site. Everybody else's individual thoughts has nothing to do with Metacritic.
And
It's
I'm
simply
not.
an
I'm gonna tell you right
aggregate.
now,
I'm not talking about the
most
hardcore
casual
one.
gamers though don't even know what Metacritic is.
They have no
It's
idea what that
the
is.
only people who talk about Metacritic are the hardcore gamers, and they just use it as like, oh, okay, I got this, I got this. Most people who pick up games or buy games or play games like that, they have no idea what the hell Metacritic is.
So we just
They
had this
don't.
discussion with Morgan's sister. She went and bought her Series S because she wanted to play
Yeah.
Starfield. That was it.
Because after she beat it, she asked. I was like, oh, okay. She was like, well, she asked me how did it review like, and I told her the Metacritic, and she was just like, oh, hmm. Anyway, like she doesn't care. She's never looked at a Metacritic in her life. Like I'm usually the one who tells her about it. Same thing with my brother, who's also a casual. He don't know nothing about Metacritic either. Like casuals
Yeah.
don't give a fuck
They
about
they
Metacritic.
just know about the game.
It's word of mouth
Yeah, word
usually,
of mouth
and
and
like the only time
anticipation.
Metacritic ever comes up is if it's
No,
like Nate says, like so many people talk about it, like Elden Ring, where so many people have talked about it being highly rated. That's when Metacritic comes into play. Like it has to be fan fucking tastic, a high ass, crazy high ass score, and then people talk about it. But the average game, most gamers don't know about the Metacritic at all.
Exactly.
no, I have a question. Was when Xbox was the market leader, 360, were games?
They had the most reviews during the 360 era. That's the funny thing. They had the majority of reviews on multiplayer games. That's
Yep.
why I keep telling it's not a media bias thing. It's
But that didn't
whoever
stop
has
me from playing it on
it's
PS3.
whoever has the most, who's the market leader at the time is the one where it's going to sell most. They're going to review it where people are, because they're trying to draw people in to their review site, and people are going to be like, okay, I'll have a PlayStation, here's a PlayStation review. They're just leaning towards whoever has the most platform, and
Yeah,
that's just it.
Grand
It's
Theft
not
Auto.
it's not
Grand Theft
oh that we're on
Auto.
an anti Xbox brigade. Like it's not a personal vendetta against Xbox. It's just
I didn't
as
see
we
that
know.
like that. I just thought that is how would Xbox profit of sales if it doesn't have any reviews? That's what I was talking
No, no,
about.
I
the
mean,
review doesn't have anything. Like, okay, let me explain something. It GTA 4, when I bought that, the marketing rights were with Xbox. I immediately bought it for PS3. It was irrelevant to me that they had the marketing rights. They even had the DLC. I still did not give a fuck. That doesn't have
Mm.
an effect on people and where they're going to choose to play their games. It just
yeah. Like
doesn't.
if somebody has an Xbox and they wanted to play Alan Wake and they just see like the reviews are all on PlayStation, if they don't know, they'll just ask like, "Oh, is this game is this a game an exclusive or is this game multiplayer?" And somebody will be like, "Oh, it's on Xbox." They'll just play it on their Xbox. Like it's not going to stop anybody a review site isn't going to stop anybody who wants to play it on their Xbox, play it on their Xbox.
Yeah, like
They'll
Metacritic
figure
still
it out.
shows that it's on Xbox. Like they
Yeah.
can still see it.
And yeah, like I said, most casuals don't even bother to look on Metacritic.
Yeah,
Like I didn't even
they
care
swear
about
that.
Metacritic before I got on Twitter and started, talking with the game community. I didn't give it like I wasn't even looking at Metacritic like that. So it's like most people don't care. And
Priscilla.
I always find it funny because it's like I was telling Nate this earlier. I'm like, y'all can't have it both ways when it comes to Xbox community. Y'all can't say, "Oh, Xbox is moving beyond the console. Oh, their gaming isn't the console anymore. It's an ecosystem," and then get mad when the console is left out of the conversation. You can either have it one way or the other. You can't have it both. You can't complain that we're not getting reviews on console, but then say console sales don't matter. We're beyond console. It's about the platform now. Like again, pick a side. Pick a side. You can't have it both ways. Either we're moving beyond the console or we care about the console. Which one is
Mm.
it?
Yeah,
I
So
see on that end.
that stuff doesn't actually have an effect. Again, this is why we're talking about. This is why you see that bullshit from people like Peter Ovo and shit, who are all fucking idiots and like 12 years old, because that shit actually has no effect. Like I told you with GTA, same thing. Yeah, do you think it mattered to me that Xbox had the marketing right? Like, if you listen to the bullshit from people like Post Ups, dumbass, and the rest of these fuck niggas, like you listen to the dumb
oh
shit
man.
that they say, you would swear that the marketing rights make your console sell the world over. It does not. Everybody and
No,
their
I know that
grandmother, hold on, wait, I
because
got you. Everybody and their grandmother swears the marketing rights for Call of Duty makes everybody play on that console. That is not the case. I
Mhm.
played Modern Warfare, Call of Duty 4, Modern Warfare 2, Modern Warfare 3, Black Ops 1, Black Ops 2, 3, and 4 all on a PlayStation before PlayStation had the marketing rights. All of them. I did not care. Like that's not a thing. And the only thing that actually sways anything in that particular argument that actually has any grounds is if you wanted to go pro and you wanted to enter the MLG league, then you have to play on the you have to play on the whatever the console is that sponsors the league that the league chooses to play on. That is the only thing in any of this stuff that would affect anybody, and no one is ever going pro in Call of Duty. So that shit literally doesn't even matter. That's what
When
I'm
it comes
saying.
to marketing right, I know that doesn't count for sales because Cyberpunk, Microsoft had the marketing right and sold more on PlayStation.
Exactly.
Like
Hmm.
I know
But
that.
if you listen to the Twitter banter, they swear the marketing rights is everything. Yet they
But
constantly
that's
get
the thing.
outsold.
Like games
I'm not
like
talking
I'll give you an example. Games like Cyberpunk, right? Xbox had the marketing rights for that, but guess where it sold the most? PlayStation.
PlayStation. Yeah, I just said it.
Yeah, it doesn't. That's what. Yeah, it doesn't. Marketing rights don't. It doesn't matter. It's at the end of the day, it's about the platform and usually who has the fucking most. And right now, it's PlayStation, which is why
Mm.
PlayStation is getting all the perks of like reviews, which at the end of the day doesn't fucking matter because it anybody who's if I had an Xbox, so I was a pro Xbox person or only had an Xbox and didn't have a PlayStation, I wouldn't care that they reviewed it on PlayStation because most of the reviews aren't even talking about performance, they're just talking about the game and the game's going to be the
Mm-hmm.
same whether it's on PlayStation or Xbox, so it doesn't
Okay,
really matter. You
I
know,
see.
was
Exactly.
the story good? Was the gameplay good? Because
Yeah,
honestly, that's going to be the same
that's the real
regardless of
question.
what
That's gonna be
platform
the
you play it
same.
on.
Exactly. Like the other night, my friend came over to give me something back, and I was talking to him, and he still hasn't gotten his current generation console. And I was teasing him, I was like, well, if you're just gonna play COD, why don't you get a PlayStation, bro? He's like, man, but I'm Xbox, bro. I'm like, bro, all you gonna do is play COD. He's like, yeah, but I gotta get an Xbox though. And I just let it slide because he just an Xbox motherfucker. He don't even know
Mhm.
why. It just doesn't even make any sense. He's just like, I've had an Xbox. I want an Xbox, and
Mhm.
that's just it. He could have $1 million tomorrow, and he would still just purchase an Xbox. That's just how it is for some people.
Because that's his ecosystem.
Yeah, that's
By
just
the
his
way,
thing.
shout out to J-Wag. Gotta love some game player. Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Going back to it, the only reason why I brought this up, because I'm new to this. Like, I had absolutely no idea this was a perk
Bro,
of.
everybody's
Like,
new to this because they're the ones paying attention to it.
I always thought that a game get reviewed equally,
No, that's
but
that's
apparently
Mhm.
not.
that's
Which
statistically impossible because you don't even know how many reviews are going to go out and who's actually going to adhere to the review. You could send out 150 copies and only 122 reviews or 123 reviews show up. You don't know what
Mhm.
they're for. And then that you also have to remember every site isn't IGN and GameSpot. They don't just have community uh things for them to go out. Like I know several people on my Twitter list or whatever that review games. The reason they get the game on the platform they get it is because that's the platform they own. So
mm,
or what I'm saying, that's like their primary platform. So it's like Chris Toast, y'all all know who Chris is. Chris
yeah, shout
reviews
out to
for
that.
she reviews for a site. You know why she reviews 90% of the VR games? Because she's the only one on that website that has one.
Mm-hmm.
So they just
I
literally
see.
send her all the codes. So it's like
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
she also has an Xbox, but they don't. They're not going to toss Xbox stuff on top of her to review that as well because you got to
Mm-hmm.
spread it out. So it's like it's just a matter of what that person may particularly want to play on. And then most places are not going to get more than one code either. So it's not like, oh, hey, I'm going to give Bob the review code for this and I'm going to give Tim the review code for the Xbox. Number one, that wouldn't make any sense. That's double work when one person on your website could be reviewing the game and then another person on your website could be reviewing the other game. So that's the other thing to keep in mind. Most of these places don't have enough people, including IGN and GameSpot, who are some of the
Mm-hmm.
biggest entities on this planet. They don't have the personnel, even if they got codes for both to review both. But it would be
Mm-hmm.
so pointless because that's what the parody is about. You're essentially
Mm-hmm.
playing the same game. Yeah, if you want now, what you're asking, right? The only thing that if you want to see is how does it play in the performance. That is what Digital Foundry
Yeah.
and them are for.
Yeah, I was like, if that's what your question, I mean that if that's what they're wanting, that's fair. but we have Digital Foundry for that. So it's like,
Mhm.
or not even just Digital Foundry. We have those, that IGN guy. We have those. There's a bunch of different,
Comparison.
YouTubers
Yeah.
and
Outlets that
comparison people.
break down,
Yeah,
compare.
exactly. That break
I
down
like you
comparisons if that's
on that end.
what you're looking for. But I really want to know with the, not you, Omar, but with the guys, the people who are asking, like, what do they want out of, like, what are they expecting to get out of that? Like, why do they want that is the question. Like, what's the point? Like, why do they feel like they need an Xbox
Because
reviews
I
as
think
with
I think
PlayStation?
it comes down to it because Xbox is quote unquote not getting the same treatment,
But they
and
are.
when you
They
do
they
so,
didn't score. They didn't score the game differently for Xbox though. They
no
got the
no no
game. They
no
got the
what
game like Alan Wake, and then said, "Hey,
no
if you want to play Alan Wake, this is our score for Alan Wake." Period.
no, but that's what I'm talking about. When you're a fan base, when you're a fan of Xbox
Hmm.
and you're anticipated you are actually excited about Alan Wake 2, but you want to know the score, and you go to Metacritic, and
Hmm.
you see that for PlayStation is a 90 or an 80, and then
You
you
should
look
be
at
excited.
Xbox, and you're like, oh, it's still pending. There is zero review for it. You're gonna get the mindset that uh, reviewers hate Xbox and stuff like that. Like they truly believe that.
Bro, that's the
Yeah, but the
Twitter
thing
that's
is
the Twitter
though,
pancake rule
that's why
though.
I have to call out on that mentality, not your mentality, because you're just
I
explaining
know.
it, but their mentality, because it's like, if you went to Metacritic, if you're excited about a game, right? Like, you were excited about Alan Wake 2, and you went to Metacritic and you saw the score, regardless of where that score is, whether it's the score is beside PlayStation or beside PC or beside Xbox, if it's a multiplat, you should be excited. Like, oh shit, it got 89. Like, I wouldn't give it, like, if it was only scored on Xbox, right, and it still got that 89 or 92 or whatever, I'd be excited as a PlayStation player because I know I can play it on PlayStation. Like, I don't care who that number's beside. All I know
Mm,
is, okay, it's been highly, apparently a lot of people like it. Let me look at the reviews. Let me hear what they like about it. See if that's what I like. And if all that sounds good to me, that's great. Like, I don't understand why the number has to be beside Xbox though, because
I
at
feel
the end of the
you.
day, if you're just reviewing the game just for the game, like, not like performance to see, okay, how is it performing on my Xbox, but you're just trying to see, you know, if the game's good, right? It shouldn't matter where that number is beside the platform that it's beside.
I
It should
feel
just
you,
be
but
like,
it gets
yes.
even worse for them. I read a tweet from a person that is like, I'm debating to get Alan Wake 2
Hmm.
because it costs a lot of money. I'm like, okay. And the person said like, okay. Did you enjoy Alan Wake 1? He said, yeah, it's my most, I really loved it and I'm super excited for 2.
Hmm.
It's like,
I mean, the
so
base
then
game's
why don't you buy
cheaper than
it?
most games.
No, no,
It's
no,
like
no,
50
listen.
bucks.
So that why don't you buy it? He said, because it's
Hmm.
not in Game Pass. And
See,
it's
well
gonna
then,
come to Game Pass
exactly.
soon. I'm
That
like,
he
you're
literally created
excited.
that issue.
You,
Yeah.
you're excited about the game because it's not like he's on the fence. Eh? He's
Hmm.
genuinely
And that
excited about the game, and he's gonna wait for it to come to Game
and that
Pass.
right there adds another feather in the cap to the point that I'm making. Why the fuck? Why would they bother to review it on Xbox when most of these niggas ain't about to play it anyway? They're about to just wait for it to come to Game Pass. They're not about to play it day one because they don't want to spend the money. And that's gonna be like, okay, even somebody who's liked the first game, right? Really, it said it was a great game, said it was one of their favorite games, and now the second one after 15 years is the sequel is finally here, and they're still gonna be like, it's too much money. I'm gonna wait. Like,
If
so
he doesn't have the
again, what is
money,
the
okay,
point?
fair point. But you knew when Alan Wake is gonna come out. You had more than enough time to save money for it if you could.
But
But
that's the factor. It's not even really a
especially,
money issue for a lot of these people.
Yeah.
They're being groomed, and this is Microsoft's fault though. They're being
but
groomed to expect games on Game Pass, and when they don't get them, they throw a temper tantrum like a 3-year-old and complain about it as if that somehow warrants them, like they're entitled to these titles on Game Pass. That's the
but
breeding ground that Xbox and their ecosystem created.
but what I don't get is you're excited though. If you're
Yes,
excited,
because again, that's what that's just what Nate says. It's like that's what's been trained. Like, oh, even if I'm excited about a game, nah, I'm gonna wait for it to come to Game Pass, Game Pass, Game Pass, Game Pass. And again,
that's
why are you worried about
wild.
that makes my point. Why are you worried about reviews on Xbox when you're not even gonna play it anyway? You're gonna sit there and wait till next year or the year or whatever when they finally decide to put it on Game Pass. That's when you're gonna play it. So why the hell do you need to see the reviews today anyway? Because you're not gonna play it day one. So why
That's
are you crying?
genuinely wild. Moving on from it, Weep, do you have anything else to say about this whole conversation?
Give him a
I
second.
think he went to
Nope.
sleep.
There he is.
Okay.
No,
Um,
I'm still here.
then the final topic before we do so, it's C Fresh, what's up, man? Those Twitter trolls don't play games. I mean, we know that. Everyone and their mother already knows that. They get exposed left and right every single day. Shout out to Do It You Do for being one of them to expose them. Listen, Priscilla said, listen, I ain't gonna no subscription bait when I buy game full price to come out on Plus or Game Pass. That would be an unpleasant feeling. I mean,
Exactly.
if you're excited about the game that you're gonna the notion that, like, look, if you don't have the money, trust me, I'm here. I understand it. But despite the fact that I don't have enough money, I still found a way to play Spider-Man 2018 or God of War 2018 because I was that excited about that. Like, I prioritize games over games. But the notion that I'm gonna wait for it to come to Game Pass, even though, like, nah, I I need that game day one when I seen it. How that person gonna survive waiting for it to come to Game Pass? Hey, you do you, I guess.
What you're running into is liars, is what we're really discussing right now. People talking
So
about
you think he lie?
they're excited for something, and and you have the money for it. You have the money, you have the means, you have everything, but you then begin to refuse to purchase the
I
title.
mean,
Then
that's what
yeah,
Xbox wants. Like that's what they want people to do. They want them to depend on Game Pass. So
Hmm.
I mean, their strategy is working. So congrats, Xbox.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, a ton of people are
Okay.
like, I'll just wait on Game Pass. Oh, this is coming on Game Pass. And what you're seeing, what Priscilla said in the chat and stuff, and what we don't like is none of us want to depend on being, and this is the joke, where a lot of these people are depending on Xbox Game Pass to tell them what to play. Here, this is leaving Game Pass. You can no longer play it. Here, this is coming to Game Pass. Yeah, I'm
Oh
excited
yeah.
for that game. Like their excitement, a lot of these people's excitement is just based on whatever's coming to Game Pass, and that's crazy, because anyone who's gamed for the past 30 plus years knows, like, when you're excited for something, you're not waiting for it to see if it's in this thing or when it's going to come there. You know what I'm saying? Now, if it's coming there and you've already got it, cool. Like, you can save some money. I get that, but when something is proven not to be coming to that service and you're like, "Oh, I'm absolutely excited about it." Dude, no one is going to sit here when GTA 6 gets announced and be like, "Oh, I'm excited for it, but I'm gonna wait for it to come to Game Pass." Literally said no one ever. That's why I say that's why I say that's
Mm.
why I say when people tell me you're genuinely excited for it and you're not going to purchase it and you have the means, you're lying. Like, that's what I'm saying. That's cap.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's the same thing. Like I said, it's no different to me than the people who are out here, you know, excited for every game that releases on Game Pass, only to find out that you look through their stuff and they've either not played it at all, or they played it for 14 minutes. Like, that's the problem you're running into. There's just these frauds out here who want to be relevant. They want to be a part of the conversation, and they're not being genuine about their excitement or what they're looking forward to gaming. Like I said, it's a wild thing to think that people would lie about something that's a passion for people. Like, it's like, imagine going to book club and Ronnie keeps lying about reading the book that book club is reading. Why are you coming to book club if you didn't want to read the book? Like that makes no sense. But Ronnie keeps
Okay.
showing up every week and he hasn't read the book. Like,
Mm.
okay, but he keeps telling everyone, "Oh, he's so excited. He's so excited. He just he can't wait for book club. It's so awesome to discuss the book with everybody and this and that." And you gradually find out he was lying. You know, whether he's reading the
You never
synapses.
started that book. I see you. I see you.
Yeah, he's reading the synapses or the quick notes or whatever. He's trying to find a bunch of bullshit ways to get around it instead of just reading the book about everybody. So then everybody that is genuinely passionate about this book and genuinely passionate about book club and stuff, now they're sitting here looking at Ronnie like in just utter disbelief because real question is why would you
Mm-hmm.
go to book club about a book you don't even want to read or have any interest in? Like it's a voluntary thing. No one's holding anybody at gunpoint out here and like game motherfucker. like 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 no, like this is something you're supposed to want to do.
Good. I will. Were you part of the space where there is a space said, "Can you defend a game you never played?"
I heard some of it.
I I I lost brain cells just reading the name.
Yeah, it was pretty bad. I was only in there for about 5 minutes. It was pretty bad.
Defending a game you never played. Why? Why would
Well,
you
well,
defend
well,
a game you
well,
never?
no. We just had that example on the timeline. Morgan told me about it before we started. She told me about Porter Rock had an interaction which I did, like I told her, I disagree, but I've played the game where he called the last Wolverine game a cash grab, and somebody told him, basically tried to call him out and call him a clown and saying like that basically he was full of shit because that game was amazing, this, that, and the third, right? And then Porter Rock went and found a tweet from that person that said they never played the Wolverine game. So how are you telling Porter Rock that
How are you gonna know
he's a
that it's
clown?
amazing?
Yeah,
Okay,
and says it's amazing and this, that, and the third, but you didn't even play it. That's crazy.
that's beyond crazy for me. That that's too much company deep throating and gas. I grew up. I genuinely I can't like my gamer brain can't comprehend that.
Matter of fact, matter of
Um.
fact, matter of fact, Priscilla's in the chat. Priscilla has played that game. Priscilla liked that game.
mm, okay, moving on from this Debbie Downer stuff. One question before we start Spidey, because I had this conversation with Pharaoh Bizarre from Vitamin G Podcast. Shout out to him. Um, he says that every game that releases without a DLC that either announced or revealed or leaked and releases with bugs and glitches is unfinished. Is that a fair statement? Because
A
to
game that's
me,
released without DLC. What?
yeah. So, but for example, we already know that Alan Wake 2 is getting a DLC.
Okay.
That's leaked.
Okay.
And for him, because it's getting a DLC, he's not gonna play it then day one.
Okay, so
Because
the
he
the answer
sees,
to that question is no. I'm gonna just stop you right there because I've had this question came up a lot during the last generation. The answer is no. You're getting the game, the complete product. You can play from start to finish. The game is done. They
precisely.
the planning phase for DLC, and this is the mistake that again, this is like the thing I told you, gamers getting information too early, but this information has to come out. It has to start being talked about early on because if it doesn't, you know what happens? You get DLC that comes out too late and then people don't want to play it because now you're 6 7 games removed from that game. It took too long and you no longer have the interest. So
Mm,
that's
Is
actually
he
an
kind of
issue.
like Callisto Protocol.
is he a single
Exactly.
player gamer or
No, he play. Okay, so basically he play everything in Game Pass almost, and
I mean, what's his
he
preference of type of game that he plays?
he plays JRPG the most. He loves turn-based the most.
This is the dude with
But
the
he
dreads
is
you talking about?
sorry.
This is the dude with the dreads you talking about?
No, that's Jubei.
Oh, okay.
This Jubei about the day one because he is a fan of Alan Wake. No, I'm talking about, and this can be literally for Starfield. So this is not PlayStation only. This is just his mentality in general. If the game have bugs or glitches, he's gonna wait until it gets patched and play it when it's quote unquote uh,
Is he looking
get.
for 100%? Because no game is 100%
Ever.
glitch or bug free.
He
So
is
what is his definition of a game not
definition
being?
is when, for example, they announce a Game of the Year edition, for example, with DLC included or stuff like that, or when a game releases.
There have been a lot of games that have had those kind of editions and still have bugs and glitches. So what? That's not a. I wouldn't count that as a really good like example. Like I'm saying like if it has just a minor glitch, just like the character's foot goes into the ground for like a second and then doesn't and then
Well,
pops back out,
I
like
feel like
is that what he
his
means?
problem is he's another one of these people paying way too much attention to social media, because if you paid attention to certain people in social media, you would swear that Spider-Man was just riddled with bugs and we all
Mhm.
hated it, and everybody who's playing it is lying. Their game is crashed
Mhm.
647 times. You've had to
Mhm.
reload about 400 times because of all the bugs and all the glitches and all the bullshit that keeps happening. Yet all of our playthroughs were still largely perfectly fine. So, but that's what I'm
Mhm.
saying. Like, if you
That's
run
what I'm
into
trying to
these
figure
people,
out
it's
what
like
his
that.
definition of bugs and glitches
Well,
are because like I said,
remember, I played
every
Jedi.
game.
I played Jedi after all of you played it. Not Survivor, the previous one. The what?
Fallen
Mhm.
Order.
Yeah, I played
Yeah, and
Fallen Order.
Me
you still
too.
had a whole issue where you had to reload
I had
yourself,
to,
like
yeah,
or
Yeah, I
replay
played
or
it.
no,
I
something.
played
yeah,
it after them. I know.
yeah.
And
I had to
and when I
restart
played
the
it,
game
I had issues as
entirely.
well.
I was
Mhm.
halfway through the game and had to
That's
restart from
and that's what
scratch.
I mean. Like, what is he? What is he? That's why I'm trying to figure out what's his measurement of a bug-free, glitch-free game. And
I
every
think he
bug-free and every game that's buggy and glitchy for some is not for others. So how does he know when a game is
well
good?
he is willing to wait like a period, like for example 6 months, just to make sure that quote unquote the most let's for example let's say it's so an example he gave me was he doesn't want to swing through the city and all the way get freeze the game freezes on him or he gets stuck and he needs to
I haven't even heard anybody say that the game froze on them
the
mid-swing.
only one that I know about I think was Chris Righteous, if I remember correctly it froze on him, but that's about it. That's the only person that I know the game froze on.
I mean,
So
I
yeah,
had a
this is
crash in
why
a cutscene and it
I told
loaded
him
back.
this is why I told him that I disagree with the statement that if a game
Yeah, that
have
whole
bugs,
DLC thing is crazy. What?
no,
Cause
there are DLCs that they either cut out of what you call it the game and make it a DLC, and then
well,
there
yeah,
are
if it doesn't fit into the story, but they still want to tell it, I don't see that it's a problem. Especially if they told the story and it came to an ending and it had a beginning, it had its middle, it had its end, it has its conclusion. Like, what's wrong with adding a DLC after that?
I feel you. I agree with that, but it must be. And so this is my issue. For example, a Spider-Man DLC, the first one with the table, that should have been in the game, in my opinion.
Yeah, but
Mm,
what you're saying, right, is that gamers always are going to think that. But there's this fine weird super line, right? Where if they don't tell you DLC's coming, you're not ready for it. And then if
Mm-hmm.
they surprise you with the DLC, all of a sudden a lot of people are not ready for it. They didn't plan for it. They're not even anticipating it, right? Like, so
That's what happened to me.
Yeah, but that's what I'm
with
saying. That happens a lot.
with Horizon Zero Dawn, the Frozen Wild. I never knew the game was getting a DLC, and I sold that
And
game.
when did ninety
And
percent of us play the Frozen Wilds?
and
Right before Forbidden West came out.
right before
Because
Forbidden West, yeah.
exactly, because it came out so freaking late and so long beyond, far beyond, and we found out about it so late that we were all so far removed from that game that we were like, I'll do it one day. Like, and
I'll do it one day. It never
yeah,
came.
that's what
Excuse
happens.
me, excuse me. I played it right when it came out.
Did
Luke said, "Look, I
I
ain't like
mean, to
y'all."
be
All
fair,
right.
you don't sell your games, so there is that.
Well, and yeah, then you have to anticipate shit like that, right? You have to
Yeah,
anticipate people who rush, go crazy on games, and then they turn them in. But it's like they might have really
mhm,
anticipated that DLC. Now they're mad because 2 weeks after they sold their game back, they got to get that shit back at some point because this new
Hmm.
DLC looks amazing.
Yeah. Lesson number one: don't sell your games. But
yeah. I learned
yeah,
from that one. Yeah,
yeah. But see, that's the thing, 'cause a lot, and that again, that's another thing where gamers get. That's why I feel like sometimes gamers get too much information from devs, because I swear once they open up to y'all, to gamers and shit, gamers just run with misinformation so much and just make it fact. Like
they do.
they, it's just like they swear every DLC is just cut content, and they
Mm-hmm.
have no way to prove that. But that's the mentality that they all think. Oh, it's just DLC because it couldn't fit in the story, or it's just
I
DLC because this and that. And I'm just like, you don't even know that. You were just running with that because that's how you
yeah.
feel. You have no
I
facts to base that on.
I used to until I spoke with an actual dev. Shout out to Alex when he explained that no, there are developers that are working on a game, and then a section of developers that are working on the DLC, and the game come out, but the DLC still needs to be worked on.
Hmm.
And that's when I learned that some the only reason, and this is the only reason why I understand why someone would think like that, which I used to, is because you're already announcing every single game, every single DLC name. Like, we're planning to do a table one, a Doomsday. I'm just naming names, just for example. A Doomsday one, a a Superman one, and a
Well,
Batman
yeah,
one.
and but that's the thing though, because I don't know why. I think in gamers' minds, they think that these developers, like, DLCs usually come out within like the first, most of the time, for like the first 3-4 months of a
I was
game,
gonna say, yeah.
right? Maybe sometimes a year. But like, I don't know why gamers think that in that amount of time, developers can just make a DLC. Like they haven't been working on it at the same time that they've been working on like the main game. Like they swear like, oh, it's, yeah, they can, after the game's done, it's only gonna take them 6 months to get a concept, story, characters, gameplay, plot of a DLC. And I'm just like, they've been working on it at the same time that they've been working on the main game, and they're not, and it's not this whole cut content thing. It's just sometimes, a game, like any piece of medium, like, any media, has a beginning, a middle, an end. It has a plot, it has a story guide that they're going, it has it follows a certain guide to get to its story beats, right? And a DLC is going to be that extra stuff that can't fit concisely into the story, because it's going to throw it off. It's going to take too long. It's not going to make sense to the plot. It's going to take away from the story that they're trying to tell. And so they're going to be like, but we like this section of the game, or we like this character, and we want to go deep into a little bit more background of this character, or allow gamers to play with this character more, or this antagonist, fight this antagonist more, get a background on it, all these other things. And I just think gamers just think, oh no, it's just cut content. I'm like, I'm I'm like, but like if it doesn't work, it's not like they develop a piece of, they put multiple millions of dollars into developing a section of the game, then throw it out and be like, nah, that's gonna be DLC. Like it doesn't work like that. It doesn't even make financial sense to do something like that. So if gamers actually sat and like thought about it and the process of what it takes to like make a game, they would realize that half the stuff they say doesn't even make sense.
Mm,
Like, but yeah, I wish
I got you.
like it's one of the things that I
I
wish
think,
gamers would stop with that
yeah,
mindset.
I agree with you. I think an open dialogue with developers would do them good.
See, but the more open developers get, the more entitled gamers get.
I feel you. I feel you. I feel you. Trust me, I feel you.
Yeah,
But there are other genuine gamers like me and you
that's true.
that
That's
just
true.
want information and want to understand the in and out of
Because
the industry.
when developers came out and they were honest about why a certain game wasn't on a certain platform, certain gamers got mad and
Yeah, they
said they
got
were
mad
they
and
were
they
they
got
were
upset.
lazy
Yeah,
and they're
yeah.
bad developers and blah blah blah, all that
hmm
shit. So it's just like you can't win.
Developers are damn if you do, damn if you don't situation. I
Yeah.
feel you.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly.
it's very random, very quick. Anyone here is a fan of the TV series Friends? Okay, nobody. Good. Cause one of the actors died apparently. He got found
Yeah.
drowning.
Oh, okay.
Okay, but going on with the main event, do you still have time in it?
Yeah.
Okay, main event we got, and spoiler warning. Shout out to Seafresh, he played it on YouTube. That that's the specialty. They always play games on YouTube. Uh, Again, spoiler warning. We're talking Spider-Man 2. The good, the bad, and the ugly. Very quick for me, the ugly. Six scratches. The bad, they removed the spider bug, the cube that I had, which I love. The spider bug, the spider cube, uh, that shouldn't died. That should be something you toggle in manually. Because it was so fun to whatchamacallit, to swing at a cube. That was entertaining. I didn't try to get in a combat with it, but I wish I did. But I had that cube bug. But aside from that, that's the only real issue I had with Spider-Man 2, which is uh the whatchamacallit, the six scratches, which is I think this is the most I have had in a PlayStation game ever.
Wait, six what?
Scratches.
Scratches? What is that?
My PlayStation crashed 6 times
Oh,
playing Spider-Man
crashes.
2.
I thought you
Yeah.
said scratches. I was like, what the
Ah,
hell's a
my bad. My
scratch?
bad. Scratch.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got you. Crash. Okay.
So with Spider-Man 2, I don't know about you guys, cause you have your own opinion, but some of the best diverse uh, side quests I have ever played, and to me, what hit the hardest was the one with Haley. Like, as someone that have bad hearing and is not deaf, like I am like her. If I remove my hearing aid, I wouldn't hear anything. And to see the word in in her eyes, like that was refreshing, cause it's very different to see someone wearing uh, glasses versus someone being deaf or wearing a hearing aid. And to see her being represented, not only that, but actually play a mission, which was what, 15 minutes with her, I had fun with it. Aside from that, um, My second most exciting moment was when Peter removed the Venom costume. Like I was, I don't know about you guys, but I genuinely hated the arrogant Peter in the sense of when he said all you guys do is screw up, and me looking at how Miles Morales is try to be everything he can to make Peter happy. I genuinely got livid at it. I I legit had an euphoria moment when Peter removed that Venom suit. And when he got that anti-venom suit, as someone that doesn't know about anti-venom, and then I got the suit, and it was so fucking amazing to use those moves. Cause beforehand, I was more into Miles, cause Miles moves were more refreshing and stuff like that, and new moves. While Venom moves were just Venom moves, something you already seen. When you get the Venom bomb, anti-Venom bomb and stuff like that, and then when you spin with the X, that was entertaining. Outside of that, I'm disappointed that there wasn't uh, a scale exclusive to your suit, but I understand that like there's what 60 suit per. I think 30 suit per character. Plus there is a different variation of it. All by all, the story was amazing. I didn't I didn't um like Craven wasn't that much of a big deal. Okay, so he was, but he wasn't. He was in the sense of he killed mad enemies like Scorpion dead and a lot of other enemies, key enemies, not enemies, key villains are dead. Vulture dead. So it makes you question where are they heading with 3? As someone that doesn't read the comic, it's gonna be very new for me, new to me. Um, I was having the conversation with Weeb, but I'm genuinely done with Peter being a nice guy or Miles. I want them to kill enemies, because some enemies, some villains are just simply not
Sir,
redeemable.
what?
Yeah, no. Hey,
Oh no. Oh no.
you gonna tell me Craven is redeemable?
I mean, Craven's dead now, though.
Yeah.
He's dead, but you don't get to kill it. You to kill him.
Okay, but he's dead, so it's. I mean,
Nah, it's they took that kill away from me. I wanted to kill him.
Hold on.
Spider-Man doesn't kill, bro. You're gonna have to get
Yeah,
over that.
we talked about that. And
I
what about Mr. Negative? What about Tombstone? What about Mysterio?
Yeah, they redeemed themselves. Like
Tombstone was
literally three
Tomb-
villains, super villains in this game
yeah,
that redeemed themselves.
I know. So, Tombstone was cool. Mysterio's the one surprised me because I genuinely believe that Mysterio was on top of shit again, only for the other two to be. And even Miles Morales believed that Tombstone was on top of shit. And Lee Redemption was great. But like someone like The Flame, he doesn't seem redeemable. Especially if he'd become Carnage.
Again, we can't make that judgment though, Omar. You know, that's kind of the
Uh,
point. We can't make that judgment on who's redeemable and who's not. Like who's for us to say who can change and who can't. You know.
mm, okay. Real talk. I don't know about Scream, but I really love that sequence with Mary Jane. Um, just how Peter had his dark side, Mary Jane had hers, and both of them are fully understandable. And I knew what Mary Jane was gonna write, cause her job was on the line. before she wrote it, I knew it was gonna be a hit piece about Peter, because that's what Jameson wanted. Other than that, the combos are amazing. The voice acting is amazing. The fluidity. To me, as much as the game was actiony, it was way more emotionally impactful. Having that dynamic duo between Peter and Mary Jane, having that dynamic duo between Haley and Miles, even Lee and Mysterio, uh, that uh, birth, that what you call it, birth sequence where you had to release the bird and you come back and you see that he died. I knew something gonna happen. And the one with the dementia, that also hit hard. Like, oh my, oh, I did every single side quest, like I got the plat, and not one time was I ever bored. All the time, they kept me on my, at the edge of my feet with everything that's happening. And I give a game a solid 6 out of 10. Okay, real talk. A 10 out of 10. I have absolutely no idea how they're gonna top it with 3. And I didn't speak about Harry because, I already talking for 11 minutes, but that was another one that done amazing well. And real talk, I truly loved that uh, when they went on the Christmas, not that's an Arabic word, I think. Carnival, I'm gonna say. It's not carnival. It's just when they went and celebrated Harry's birthday, and they played games and stuff like that. I have a question to everyone. Did any one of you beat Mary Jane with that whack-a-mole? Or are we... Because she got 40 too, and I got 20.
I don't think you can.
Yeah, she she went ham. All right. Oh yeah. No. Amazing. And shout out to J Body. Apparently, you can find a bicycle laying around and you can ride it as Peter Parker. Which real talk, I did enjoy the bicycle ride. Yeah, no, I enjoyed everything. It felt diverse and very quick. Shout out to Insomniac. They understood their assignment. When you, what you call it, go behind, when you track an enemy in a car, you don't need to mash the button. You whip, he automatically does it for you and he automatically take care of everyone else. So you don't even fight them, which is refreshing.
Yeah,
It's like less time wasting and more let's get to the point. Even uh, is it me or even what you call it, the beauty event was limited
it was extremely
to a
limited.
certain to a certain moment in the game,
Yeah,
and not to mention the addition of the flying suit, dude. I yo, I never knew I wanted it until I had it. It was amazing. Um, if you haven't played it, well, too bad you already got spoiled. But still, go ahead and play it. I know life the heck out of it. I put what around 30 plus hours and got the plat. And if they do a DLC, you you know I'm gonna be day one on it. Otherwise, I'm looking forward to what they're gonna do next.
Well, actually,
If they're gonna
the
work,
whole team got the platinum, which is very rare.
not really. We did that with Horizon,
No, I'm saying it's still rare though.
and
That
we
was
did it with God of War.
no, we
We
didn't because I don't have the platinum for God of War.
oh you don't oh boo. But to be fair,
Yeah, neither do I.
we are surrounded by gamers for gamers. So
Yep.
we play our games. But yeah, no. But to be fair, also the plot for Spidey 2 wasn't that difficult. There wasn't a busy work where you need to, let's say, um, I don't know what, random something, look for something so obscure that you need to look for a guide up. Like, nah. Most of the stuff was in your face. The only thing that wasn't in your face was the robot, the spider bot, which you unlock something for it, but still, it's a little bit of swing around and you find it. But yeah, enough of me. Weeb, what's your thoughts on the game?
Yeah, I agree with you completely. That was a blast. And also surprisingly, I mean, I took, I guess, took it along as of all of us, but I remember finishing the first game like in one weekend. So I definitely feel like it's longer than the first game. At least it felt like that to me. And yeah, I wasn't bored for for a second. I mean, you continued, they continued throwing the interesting story for you. Side activities were more interesting this time around. Yeah, like you said, less QTEs. Everything was a bit more streamlined. I guess the only thing I mean, at this point, I kind of hope that there's going to be a PS5 Pro and it's going to give us, 60 FPS, 4K ray tracing because I kind of still bugged by the fact that there's still two modes, 30 FPS with ray tracing and then 60 FPS but with less detail. Because uh, I was switching between the two because when I'm doing the story missions, I went for the 30 FPS mode because the details matter to me then. But when I was just free roaming, I really felt like 60 FPS was the way to go because it felt a little slow when were doing it 30 FPS. Um, but overall, yeah, I mean, I really enjoyed the fact that you could place two Spider-Mans and they were well similar, but also had like their unique move sets. I found Miles more interesting up to the point that you got the Venom suit, because then actually Peter was more interesting. Um, I I still kind of prefer Peter as a Spider-Man just because he has the quips which Miles doesn't really have, but like when playing as without a suit, I generally was more interested in Miles' personal life and interaction with his family than I was with Peter because it was just him hanging around Mary Jane or uh, uh, what's his name forgot damn forgot his name Harry, yeah. Wasn't really that interesting to me. Um, I agree with you. Craven was a bit of a two-dimensional villain in the end. Venom was far more interesting, but definitely came too late. In my opinion, like I really wish
Too late?
yeah, too late. Like I really wish
Okay, I
they
think
were,
that mostly because you get your Venom powers way too late.
yeah, logically that means Venom will be introduced later as well. So I kind of wish that they had done that a bit earlier, because then they have more time. Like it felt a bit like Tony Dodd was a bit wasted on the fact that they could have done so much more with with him if they had if they had introduced him a bit earlier, because it would have been more interesting as an antagonist than Craven was throughout most of the story. Like wasn't bad. Like they made him like this ultimate badass, just straight up killed like 3 members of his rogues gallery. But yeah, I mean there also wasn't anything really interesting about it. Like you wasn't really emotionally invested in him. Not like you were with Doc Ock in the first game. Venom being Harry in this game, and even like Lee, like Mr. Negative. Like in the first game, you kind of got where he was coming from, because he wanted to take revenge on Norman Osborn for what he did to him. And I really loved how they turned him around. Like that's also like I said, I totally disagree with you. Spider-Man should kill his villains, because then of course the logical reason why they never kill their villains is because they would run out of villains in the end. And that wouldn't be very interesting. But like it doesn't fit like his personality. It doesn't fit. This is not Spider-Man. Is never a villain, or never a hero who kills his villains. And yeah, and I think that this game really made a point of redemption, right? Like I really like that about this one, because there were some very subtle, or not maybe not subtle critiques, like for example the prison system, like when you when you were in with in Peter's mind with Lee and Miles, where he's just like, yeah, I know, this, like you were in a raft, and this is where Spider-Man locks up his villains, but like yeah, but like he said, like it's not always the solution, yeah, and but I definitely like the fact that there's that they sort of prove have proven Spider-Man right? That he doesn't kill his villains because he believes in redemption, and yeah, there is redemption. Yeah, like we have literally three supervillains who turn over a new leaf. Who and in the end, that like Lee was instrumental in stopping Venom. That's also something you have to keep in mind. Like if Spider-Man had killed off Martin Lee in Spider-Man 1, probably it would be fucked now. Everybody would have turned into
Mhm.
symbiote. So yeah, think about that, Omar. For your advocate killing off all the villains. Um,
Mhm.
but yeah, I mean, yeah, what else is there to say? Music was great. Um, yeah, web swing was even better. Yeah, with the addition of the wingsuit and the fact that you could, yeah, they did a lot of things to ensure that you could travel. Like I rarely even used fast travel, because it was, I wouldn't say faster, but it was more fun to just travel around, swinging using these wind tunnels that give you a boost, and you even had sort of these slingshots on the rooftops. So they did everything they could to make it yeah, traversing as fun as possible. There was always something to do. And yeah, side quests were definitely more fun this time around, even though they still had a pigeon chasing side mission, but they knew what they were doing there, and actually was kind of touching in the end. Um, yeah, I mean, and yeah, I love that they somehow basically had some side missions, which initially you thought, okay, they weren't really, uh, you know, that big of a deal, that they turned out to be. Like I did at some point when you were playing as Miles, and you were chasing down those birds to which were trying to assassinate somebody. At some point I thought, wait a minute, I'm this guy's this is Chameleon, right? And in the end they introduced him as as the Chameleon. I almost thought at the end, when you're the post credit, I think the last post credit scene, when we're introduced to, which turns out to be the character of Silk, which probably is going to be in the in Spider-Man 3 then. I actually thought when you opened the door and you saw the her dad the back, I thought, wait, is that the guy who was Chameleon was disguised as, so he's going to be his dad now? But that would have
That
been
would be
interesting.
crazy.
It would have been crazy, yeah. But they didn't do that. So yeah. Insomniac, if you're listening to this, yeah, you could have done that too. Would have been far more interesting. But still, but still, it's great that they're also setting that up, because I read about it, and they were talking about, okay, maybe we should do Spider Gwen, but then they said, like, yeah, but let's do Silk, because Silk is
Silk's
far less.
badass.
Yeah, definitely, and she's far less known, and they can sort of do more with it. And I think, yeah, I think also like Spider Gwen in terms of powers, is probably not that interesting, because she's not that unique. I think Silk would be far more interesting as a character with a unique moveset. But I also think that they did say that maybe they're going to do a sort of DLC or standalone Venom game, which suggests that Venom survives, which is not unthinkable considering he's just goo, and he was like spread all over New York. So there is a good chance a small part of him survives, which I really hope so, because I want
Hmm.
to hear, like, I hope that they're going to do DLC or stand like a Miles Morales thing where he plays Venom, and it's going to be Eddie Brock, right, the real Venom, and they're it's possible they're setting this up because they're pretty much setting up Carnage, and I
Hmm.
don't think I don't think Carnage is going to be the big bad of Spider-Man 3, because that's going to be the Green Goblin, of course,
Yep,
because
Green Goblin, let's go.
yeah, so that, like, it would be more interesting to do that and then just have him be one of those side villains. And I hope they're going to do that, because also hope they're going to sort of turn Venom into the Venom from the movies, which is it if you know the comics, this comic will look accurate. Like, Venom turns out to be, like, in his own comics,
Anti-hero, yeah.
anti-hero, yeah, like really like the uh, yeah, having that dark sense of humor, which is great.
Hmm.
I would love that there, if they're going in that direction. Um, but yeah, I mean, there's so much potential with Spider-Man. Like, and yeah, Omar, don't worry, there are plenty of villains left they can use. Um, and yeah, I mean, overall it was great. Like, I don't really do half or a decimal number, so for me it's either like a 9 or a 10. So I'd say a 9. um like just because there's some imperfections, right? Like I didn't have many crashes. Like, I think I had like 2 crashes, so I didn't have 6 like Omar. And it wasn't as bad with bugs. Like, the most I really got was that occasionally the lip sync or subtitles weren't exactly 100% correct, like they were misplaced, or even sometimes the dialogue was like flipped, like that you saw I think, like, was when you were playing as Miles with the music museum. I was talking to somebody, and first you had like a dialogue of the person who was you were talking to, and then Miles dialogue followed, where it was just, "Hi, I'm Miles." Well, wait, what? So that was kind of weird, but yeah, there were really minor things. Like, there was nothing really a major, like, the people were complaining about or were exaggerating. It was a fairly polished game in the end. Like, and looked great. Um, yeah, I mean, I definitely think that they can just go even bigger. And they're speculating there, right? Because they're saying, like, if this was Civil War, then what's next? Like, so it's probably going to be Infinity War, right? Um, so yeah, I mean, I'm really looking forward to what they're going to do next. I mean, I'm definitely, Insomniac is one of the best studios. Sony, basically the best acquisition made. That
Absolutely.
absolutely, yeah. There's no doubt in that. So yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to see what to do next. So yeah, thoroughly enjoyed it. So Omar,
Gotcha,
over to
gotcha,
you.
gotcha, gotcha. Morgan, how was Spidey for you?
I mean, you guys pretty much said everything that I wanted to say. It's great. Had a good time. It exceeded my expectations. Um, combat wise, traversal wise, yeah, like you said, I didn't even know I wanted the web wings until I used them. Yeah, I can't like I always go back to Spider-Man, 2018. Before Spider-Man 2, I would always go back and play, play it a few hours or swing around, because it's just one of those therapeutic things to do. But I don't think I could ever go back to 2018 or the
Oh
remaster
yeah, that's
after this.
impossible.
It's yeah,
Nah.
Spider-Man 2 is gonna be my go-to from this point forward. Um, yeah, great game, great narrative. I love the entire cast. I think they did a really good job. Um, giving both Spider-Man, justice on the screen. Like it didn't just feel like, Miles was just kind of this side character that's, also Spider-Man, but not really, It felt like they were both equally important in the story. It hit for both of them, which I mean, of course I knew Insomniac was gonna do it, but like they always do it almost to perfection. Um, the side quests, like you were saying, Omar, are a lot better than they were in the first game. I've noticed that a lot about PlayStation games that they've like usually, they hit their stride with the second game. And Spider-Man 2 is no different, the Howard side quest, everybody was talking about that with, with the pigeons, poor Howard, and the Haley side quest and then the older gentleman going through dementia, they all had like, this emotional strings with these side quests. They did a good job. Um, so much so that I kept waiting, for more side quests and side things to pop up because they were just so good. I just kept looking around like, okay, when can I do my next side quest or when can I, do my next little side event or whatever. And that's probably the only really probably major critique I would have is I wish there were more side quests to do. I felt like there weren't as many as I would have liked for this game, but then that's just because I guess they were just so good that I kept wanting to do them. But I thoroughly enjoyed the moment that you know, and like you said, like y'all said, it took a minute to get the uh for Peter to get his black suit, but I did thoroughly enjoy it when he finally did. Like the way you feel so OP when you first get that suit is crazy. Like they did a really good job with the sound design and the dual sense when you get the black suit, like the sounds of like the growls in your ear and like the way the haptics go off when you're like in your when you're in the surrogate mode or whatever it's called, the venom mode. It's yeah, it's crazy. You just feel so powerful. Like you just one hitting enemies, you're grabbing them and throwing them, and like Peter, you can just tell Peter's just like a different man when he got that suit because he just did not give a crap about being uh soft with the enemies, right? Like you could tell you could tell he was definitely trying to hurt people. Like he wasn't necessarily trying to kill, but he was definitely not being soft with his punches like he usually is. Like he holds his punches back. He was definitely giving them everything to the point where like he had those villains like scared every time he showed up. Like they were like, "Oh man, this motherfucker's about to kill us." But I think Yuri did a great job portraying a darker Peter. His voice getting deeper and his attitude and uh, the way he talked to his friends and uh, everybody on the cast really did a great job. Trying to think what else are the high points of the game for me. Like I don't know, it was just overall they just did a phenomenal job with this game. And such a and to its own, like I said, to its own detriment that I don't even want to go back to 2018. that now all I want to do is play this game. Like now I'm to the point where I'm just waiting on the new game plus to launch because I'm definitely playing it again. But I want all of the suits and stuff that I unlocked and all of my skills so that I can play from the beginning with everything that I have. But yeah, and then I'm gonna play it on, of course, if they have the ultimate mode for the new game plus, I'm definitely gonna be playing it on that. And hopefully they'll also add a day and night uh switcher so we can switch between the two. Yeah, those are like really the only negatives that I can think of not having the ability to switch between day and night. And but they usually add it with their new game plus, so it'll probably be there. But um, yeah, I gave it like a 9.5. It's my game of the year is still Octopath Traveler 2. Like that's a hard game to beat. And I pretty much knew Spider-Man 2 wasn't gonna do it, like unless it did something like crazy. I knew it wasn't gonna do it, but it's definitely number two. Like it's to the point where it's really close to Octopath Traveler 2, but Octopath Traveler 2 is still my game of the year. But yeah, great job Insomniac. Can't wait to see what this DLC is about. I don't know, like they said, they're kind of listening to the fans and they're listening to their feedback on what they want the DLC to be. And they said if they wanted to be more Venom, they're gonna be more Venom. If not, they're gonna do something different. So we'll have to see. Now I'm just like wondering after this game how the hell like I'm just excited about what Wolverine's gonna be like. Insomniac, there's no stopping them. So shout out to them. They're definitely becoming easily one of PlayStation's top studios. They're making it on their own. Like they're definitely putting their foot down and showing that you definitely belong here as part of the PlayStation studios. Like they have not stopped since they've been acquired. They've been working nonstop. Uh, but yeah, 9.5 out of 10. Loved it. It is. I definitely see it getting a Game of the Year nomination. And this year, just it's been crazy with games. Like right now, like as we're talking, I'm playing Alan Wake at the same time. Like it's just so much this year. But yeah.
I see. And Nate, what about you?
Yeah, I mean, you guys pretty much said it all. I mean, the web wings, the web wings, the combos, everything was literally just turned up to 11. That they did before and just did it way better. Gave us uh, some new things I really appreciated. The distinction in the combat between Peter and Miles. It felt like playing two different characters entirely, which is what it's supposed to do. They didn't feel so close together that it's like, they were indistinguishable. They both had their own unique traits. Earlier on, Miles felt way better for crowd control and stuff like that, versus before Peter had his powers, um, where he was able to do the Venom stuff, which is much better for AOE damage and crowd control, stuff like that. Um, just everything about it was just great. I did like the Mary Jane missions a lot better in this one than I did the first one. I was complaining at first when I had to play her because I thought it was gonna be the same shit. Um, but the only thing that like threw me off for a second was like having to figure something out in the first one that I had to play her, where I had to play and mess around with the board and like uh, figure out the code. Um, but once you find the code, she just kind of knows the code. I thought you had to figure it out, so that kind of annoyed me for a second. But outside of that, those were fun too. Those were so great. Like you guys talked about the death mission and stuff where you're playing as Haley. Um, that was cool and like gave you like a sense of understanding and all that. Just everything in general was just really well done. Like I said, the side missions were really well done. I didn't hate doing anything in the game. The Mysterio challenges were dope. One of those frustrated me, and I was like ready to like throw my controller for a second because I finally got it, and I thought you had to get them gold, so I was trying to get every one of them gold, and I did. Um, but one of them, which wasn't too bad for the most part, it was just the one that you had to do it in a minute, and you had to like destroy like 20 of them or something, and I got it in 59 seconds. Um, so that like annoyed the brakes off of me. But yeah, man, outside of that, like I said, the game was just really great. Um, Overall, I barely had any issues while I was playing as far as glitches or crashes. Um, Honestly, man, it was just a wonderful,
did you get
concise
all the
experience.
Mysterio missions gold or not?
I did, yeah, because
Yeah,
I thought I had to.
yeah,
So,
the same. Yeah, I thought I had to get all the hero tokens thing, but you had more than enough by the end of the game.
yep.
The one that was most frustrating to get was the first one actually.
I don't know the order. I just oh, you talking about the first? Oh, the first one, like when you get introduced to it.
Yeah, because you had to because it's not difficult because you just have to defeat the guys, but getting them within like a minute was pretty frustrating because they were all over the place.
Yeah, yeah. I think you're talking about the same one that I was talking about because it's literally 1 minute, and you have to do
Yeah,
it pretty freaking fast.
yeah,
And I had
yeah.
to
I
like
was
map
like,
out using like throwing stuff at them because throwing stuff at them would kill them in one hit. But then you
yeah,
had to save enough so
yeah,
that you didn't like run into the issue later. It was a mess, man.
yeah. I had that the first time. I got like 1 minute, 1 second, like fuck me.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like, but was able to do because you have to. Yeah, I just came back later when I had more powers for Miles, and then it actually was a lot easier. Like when you have that move, when you press R3 and L3
Just
same
suck them all
time.
in.
Yeah, that made it a lot easier because you could just kill them all in one hit.
Yep. Agreed.
Gotcha, gotcha, gotcha. Then let's get to an outro. We, where we can find you.
You can find me on Twitter as the Weep Sheriff at Infinite Rhizome, and yeah, Other Nation.
Alternation.
Morgan, where we can find you.
You can find me also on Twitter at Chill Bandit. Um, Mostly, talking about games like you're supposed to. Uh, right now, be playing Alan Wake 2, and if I can get through the night without screaming, it'd be great. But see you guys next Saturday.
Nate, where we can find you.
Uh, yeah, just on Twitter at the real innate. Again, just keeping it gaming, man. Finishing up uh the year, and it's been a hell of a 2023, and we're gonna finish strong, man. Good to go.
As for me, people can find me on Caravan Job on Twitter and Vitamin G podcast every Monday, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. And great show, great topic, and see you next week. We're out of here.